I'm going to come out of a commercial, so we'll be ready.
Oh, what is the commercial situation? Like, how often do... Hey, guys.
About every 30 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Sal.
Hey there, lonely boy.
What the was that?
Dude, down here.
What the
We are your balls.
Hello.
How in the hell?
Sal, we don't have time to talk about that now.
Dude, rubbing that bar of soap against us for like 10 seconds does nothing but just spread around your junk funk.
You might as well be bagging us into a dirty mop bucket.
You want to get some action from something other than yourself, don't you?
Well, your first step is to stop making your most desirable place an inhospitable environment.
Trust us, Sal. Let us continue doing the thinking for you, big guy. Go buy some ball wash. Ball wash XL today.
Ball wash? What is ball wash?
What is ball wash?
It's no laughing matter. Ball Wash is a powerful yet gentle pH-balanced wash formulated for a guy's most odor-prone and sensitive area. It also features activated charcoal and other natural ingredients selected for their unique properties, making it the perfect wash for balls and body.
Hey, dude, you remember the other day when you were making the bed and your hand slipped off the sheet as you pulled on it and you smacked us really hard by accident? That shit hurt, but damn, it was funny.
Okay, seriously now. Use promo code RadioVegas at checkout and you will get 15% off your order. That's ballwash.com.
And we're live.
You know, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it live, Crazy Jay.
So that's what I heard.
Listen, I'm pretty excited about this, man. It is wonderful to have you all here for the Host with the Most podcast. I'm Todd Newton. Crazy Jay is right here as we broadcast live from the Kicker Studios in the great city of Las Vegas. It's good to see you, brother.
Thank you, man.
And
It's a little different than the Golden Tiki.
It is a little different. Yeah, we're hydrated in a much different way, but this is a beautiful setup. For those of you that have never been introduced officially to Crazy Jay, he is the founder, the creator, the main man behind RadioVegas.Rocks, and RadioVegas.Rocks is one of our main platforms for the Host with the Most podcast. And Jay and I, Jay's been kind enough to carry the podcast on RadioVegas.Rocks now for a couple of years. And he's based here in Las Vegas, which is kind of my home away from home. So to be able to see you and do it in the studios here is quite a thrill, not to mention how good the studio smells with what you are feasting upon there.
Oh, yeah. We're sponsored by Jesse Ray's today.
Jesse Ray's Barbecue here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse Ray's Barbecue here in Las Vegas for having us. And I'm going to, we've got a couple of great guests that are going to be joining us on the podcast today. Some very well-known Las Vegas performers are going to be stopping by. And for a little while, we're going to be on Facebook Live. And then when the guests get here, we're probably going to shut that off because I'm going to want to kind of focus more on speaking to them.
But they can watch it on RadioVegas.Rocks.
Yeah. So just go straight to RadioVegas.Rocks and everything is there. You got the cameras all set to go. And I've got my bronzer on. We're looking good. And you know what? We went from like 10 or 12 people watching on I'm so bad on this Facebook thing. We now have one. My man Lewis is watching, so I'm going to switch over to Instagram Live.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. This is great. We were talking before.
There's always more than it shows you too, because people rewind to the beginning.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah. So that number that it shows, there's always like 4 times that many.
Facebook. I hate. Listen, is it bad? Is it bad for me in this day and age to say that I really don't enjoy Facebook?
A lot of people don't.
It's
just something I think we need.
Or they tell us we need, right?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the... all right, here. Now, how do I do this? How do I go live on here? I want to get it right. You going to show me?
Well, we're also always live if you go to YouTube,
yeah.
Radio Vegas Rocks, all one word.
Right.
Or Twitch, Radio Vegas Rocks,
for
all
God's
one word.
Sake.
You just made his head explode.
So if I wanted, here, live like this. Okay, live on Instagram. All right, there we go.
Yeah, that'll do too.
This. Checking connection. Okay. We are now live. All right, so here we are now live on Instagram from Las Vegas, the Host with the Most podcast. This will be fun. So, Jay, before our guests get here, the whole concept of the Host with the Most podcast going on 7 years now. It's gone through a couple of different incarnations. But the whole goal behind it is to keep the art of conversation alive, you look around, and even here in Las Vegas, walking up and down the Vegas Strip, everybody is glued to the phones, and you're missing the beauty of what's going on around you, especially here. And no one's a bigger fan of Las Vegas than I am, but you're starting to see people missing the right here and the right now. And part of what we're missing is communication and looking someone in the eye and feeling their reaction to the words that you're spitting out of your mouth. The art of conversation is why we created the Host with the Most podcast. So every week on the show, if you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, or you can listen to us here on RadioVegas.rocks. And we talk about things that pop into my head and things that are happening in the world. And it is the furthest thing from just an opinion show. Every podcast, whenever someone can't think of a way to describe what it is they're doing, they're like, well, whatever pops into my head. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. This is real stuff. So right now, we're right in the middle of the Price is Right live tour. You know, we're going to do some great cities. We're going to go through May 3rd. And it is the furthest thing
Sorry, there's
from
a delay.
just an opinion show. Oh, yeah. Am I going to hear that the whole time?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, my voice sounds melodic and nice. I like this. This is good stuff. But we were recently in the great city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. You guys been to Albuquerque?
One time.
They have that Central Ave there, which is filled with restaurants and bars.
It's actually where my mom lives.
Now?
Yeah, it's not just a cheesy joke. She actually lives in Albuquerque. I love the place.
Yeah, it's great. Well, right on Central Avenue, a couple of years ago, not on this most recent visit, but a couple of years ago, a friend of mine and I were doing a little day drinking. We had a day off, and we were at one of my favorite things in the world is enjoying a nice cold beverage on a rather warm day outdoors, you know? And so we were doing that and then some. And after 4 or 5, we crossed the street to this shop on Central Ave, and it's called, I had to look it up. It's called the Man's Hat Shop. This place is famous. Celebrities have been going to the Man's Hat Shop for years, decades, I tell you. So we stumbled in there with a few in our guts, you know. And I bought the most ridiculous pork pie hat. You know those stupid pork pie hats? Because Breaking Bad was still around. So I thought, well, listen, if Walter White can do it, Todd Newton can do it. Nonsense. So I bought that. And on the way out, the guy that owned the store, really smooth character, you know, definitely knows his business. He said, hey, man, you'd look good in this. And you'll be the only guy in the room wearing it. And those are words, those are magic to my ears, you know. And he pointed to this Abe Lincoln smokestack hat with a rattlesnake skin band around the base. And do you know I bought that thing for $160? I bought it. And I wore that thing up and down Central Avenue. And I got some attention, you know, which, of course, at the time, in my current state, made me think that I really got my money's worth with this. But anyway, that has since been disposed of. But I digress. Speaking of Albuquerque, there's a 36-year-old fella named Dominic Calderon from Albuquerque. And Dominic was feeling a little frisky last week while he was riding his bike. And he approached a woman on his bicycle that he believed to be a professional. Okay? Pulled up next to her. And listen, any lady listening right now will tell you there's nothing sexier than a dude pulling up to you and propositioning you while he's on his bicycle. Ladies love. So Dominic pulled up next to this woman who he assumed was a prostitute. And he asked her how much she charged for her services. Now, this guy's 36 years old. He should know better. And the woman kindly explained, she presented a number, and he said he didn't have the money. He didn't have that much money. He wasn't getting paid till next week. But he had in his possession a fast food bag, and he offered her the cheeseburger in exchange for her services.
Yeah.
And she agreed, and he was arrested. She was an undercover cop. Did you hear that story?
Yeah, we did the story. Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
you did?
Yeah, it's so
Well, you
good.
bastard, why didn't you tell me? I'm building up to it like that.
Everybody's got a different opinion on it.
Well, listen. Just brilliant, you know? And you got to wonder, are we talking single cheese? You know, is this off the dollar menu? But he was arrested, and he was charged with patronizing prostitutes. What do you think about that? Entrapment? What? Yeah?
It's definitely entrapment
Okay.
because she let him in. She let him on. He didn't.
Because she gave a price.
Right, and,
Yeah.
he didn't approach her. It seemed like she approached him. So it's more.
Well, I don't know. He had to put the brakes on that bicycle, man. You know what I mean? So it's. But who's the victim here? Where's the crime? You
But
know
he
what I
didn't
mean?
ask how much, and I've always been told that if there's a
Have you now, Jay?
yeah,
You've always been told?
if there's like some sort of sting operation,
Yeah.
that as long as you don't say how much, you're not really soliciting. But if
So how are you supposed to like? What if we're in Las Vegas and it's not legal here in Clark County, right? But
No.
it's on the outskirts of town.
yeah, Nye County, you can do it.
Okay, so but you know Vegas obviously is notorious for the working girls. How are you supposed to approach them? Because I remember back when I was working here a lot, there were certain casinos where the main bar, the Circle Bar in front of the main, that's where they were. It was common knowledge that if you were looking for that kind of action, Circle Bar at at 2 or 3 of these main casinos, and they switched whatever was the hot one at the
Well,
time.
now they have the card guys. You walk by and they're
Well, can I tell you something about that? I have a good friend, and we'll call him Tom because that's his name. My friend Tom was here 7, 8 years ago and hit big playing blackjack, right? And I happened to be here with him. Well, this 7, 8, the Barbary Coast was still open. So would that be about 7 years ago, right?
yeah,
Okay.
close. Yeah.
And so Tom picked up one of those cards. And the catch with that is the picture on the card, that ain't who's going to show up.
Oh no, not even close.
Let's try one. Let's call one. No, that and so Tom protested, you know, when the young lady arrived because he was very excited about the young lady on the card. She was to his particular taste, you know. He's got a particular taste.
If you're
Ladies.
listening and you don't know what we're talking about, they're called Las Vegas trading cards.
Is that what they're called? See how many you can collect?
Yeah, you want to see if you can get the whole collection.
You know, I've never done that. I've never called a professional, and here's why. I'm not against it. I think that it should be legal. I think a lot of marriages would be saved. I think a lot of stress would be relieved. I think you know what I mean?
If you're gonna do it, it's safer to go to a brothel.
Is it?
Yeah, because they're
Okay.
checked out. They have a doctor that goes there once
That's
a
true.
week.
And they're taxed and licensed
Right.
and registered and certified.
not that
and
I
all
know anything about.
Right. Do you, or has anyone ever told you like what it costs to go to a brothel? Do you have any idea? Like,
Yeah, we do. We actually did a show from the Chicken Ranch
Is that right?
about 5-6 years ago because we were doing a contest where one of our listeners got to go out on a date with Sunset Thomas. And
I know who Sunset Thomas is.
right, so we
She
had,
was on the HBO show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we had this big contest, and we learned a lot. We interviewed the madam. We got this whole like this is how it works because some people think you just go in there and they're just laying around waiting. But if they're not busy, they got to clean. They got to do their own laundry.
They got
gotta
to earn their keep.
They got to earn their keep. And we even got to have dinner in the kitchen with all the ladies. And the madam was like, "No men have ever been allowed in here."
Is that right? So is it what I assume it to be is you walk in and then there's the lineup. We hear about the lineup.
There's the menu. This is what you're into. This is what it's going to cost. And that's no joke.
But I mean, when you walk in initially, all the available ladies come out, right? And first you have to select, you select what you want off
The
a
menu board. This is who's here today.
Oh. And you point to this particular lady
Yeah,
and
on the
she comes
picture.
out?
Yeah, and then they'll call her and she'll come up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because on the HBO show, all the ladies came out and you stood there and had to. And for me, that would be difficult because you may see one that you really like, but you're going to feel bad, you know.
Right.
unless you brought your Amex and you could choose 2 or 3. That would solve that
Right.
issue. I would think. Okay, so then so you choose the menu board, and then it is my understanding that you go into a private room, and then the negotiations continue there. Is that correct?
They can upgrade for sure.
Okay,
But they have an idea of what they want when they go there, so they're going to get the girls that perform that.
I see.
So.
Very nice. All right, so it has the girl's picture, and then what her specialties or what is
They
available
actually
from
they
her.
actually told us that there's things on the menu like just want to chat.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah,
I
so-
believe that. Do you know how many men that would be there? And I have zero statistics to back this up, but do you know how many men probably list that as their number one complaint in a marriage or even in a relationship? This woman just doesn't even listen to me. You
Yeah.
know, I get that. And those women are wonderful at making you feel comfortable, making you feel like the king of the world.
Right.
I would imagine. Again, I would like to go to a brothel at some point. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So the next time you do one of your shows there, strictly for the sake of entertainment, Jay, I would like to.
Right. Education reasons.
Yeah, I would like to know.
Yeah, but if it's just chat, they have a bar
How
area.
much is that
I think it starts at like $60 an hour.
to just chat?
Yeah, and they have a bar in there, and they just go in there and you buy them drinks, and they have a restaurant you can order food from, and
Now, is a brothel? Did you get the impression that the brothel is similar to, say, a strip club, where
No.
it's a constant
It's com-
hustle and a constant
completely
upsell?
different. Yeah,
Is that right?
Completely different.
So back to my original question: what is the average guy going to spend in a place like that?
Couple $100.
Couple of hundred? That's it?
Sure.
If you don't want anything crazy?
Yeah, I don't even think the crazy goes out. I think the highest we saw was like 300 an hour, 400 an hour.
And an hour's enough, right?
Yeah, unless you're getting somebody that is the Sunset Thomas
Right,
type
right.
that's there as a special guest, a special feature, or whatever. Then she has the right to charge whatever she wants.
Yeah.
500 for the house,
And then for her.
and then for
So,
whatever she wants.
and then a lot of the places here around Vegas, Pahrump, right, is the main, is
Yeah.
where most of them are. They offer transportation to and from, don't they?
They do.
What a business, man. Why is this illegal? This is brilliant. You know what? It won't be for much longer.
When we did the remote there, yeah, they picked us up in their limo, and I'm like, this is what the neighbors want to see is me getting in a limo that says Chicken
This
Ranch.
is so great. This is so great.
Yeah, it's
Does it
awesome.
say Chicken Ranch all over the
Yeah,
car?
it's got the logo on it.
God, what an Instagram thing. Listen, I think Instagram's the dumbest thing in the world, but what a photo that would be.
Yeah, we have a photo of all of us standing in front of it
With the thumbs out, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
We
That's
took
great.
we took a bunch of singers in town, and we just went and performed for the girls, and it was great.
How
They
many,
loved it.
how many of them were there?
Like 10 to 15.
And is the place clean and comfortable?
Very clean.
And some of them you can stay overnight, almost like a hotel situation, right?
Yep. And the Chicken Ranch, they do provide that.
That's so great, man.
They have a swimming pool. When we wrapped up the contest with Sunset Thomas, they had a pool party the next day, barbecue. We got invited to it. It was amazing. It was a good weekend.
I'm looking at the folks who are watching us on Instagram Live, and I just from a couple of the friends that have tuned in here, I just know how much backlash I'm going to get for this conversation, but it's totally worth it. All right, let's move on here. As we broadcast live from Las Vegas here on the Host with the Most podcast, we're thrilled that you're joining us. My official website is toddnewtononline.com, toddnewtononline.com. If you're listening to us on RadioVegas.rocks now, you're welcome to join me on Instagram at Todd Newton. I'm not super active over there unless something good's going on in life, so please do join us over there. As we broadcast from Vegas, there's one of the things I want to talk about are these ridiculous resort fees that the hotels are charging, and almost tripling the cost of what it runs you to stay a night here. And a lot of the booking agencies, your Hotels.com, your Expedias, your Orbitz, they are really cracking down on that because they're the ones who are taking the hit. You book a room here in Vegas for $40 a night, and then when you check out, you realize you got dinged for another $43 a night resort fee when all you did was crash out in your room.
And my problem with it is they'll charge you for the business center, whether you use it or not.
The fitness center, whether you use it or not.
The pool could be closed.
Right.
And they
Or
still
it could
charge
be
you.
January.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right now here in Vegas, it's 50 something degrees. Nobody's in those pools.
No.
Right. And it's a shame because if you have a love for Vegas like I do, and you appreciate the history of this great city, you know that there was a time in the 60s and even the 70s and even up into the 80s when these hotels had great love and great appreciation for the people that came there. And, there were such things as comps. There were no rewards programs. You didn't have to gamble X amount of money in a certain number of days. If you were high rolling, if you were spending a lot of money in the casino, you were comped dinner, you were comped a room. Those days are completely gone now. It's all about these rewards cards. And you're no longer a high roller. It's who's losing the most out there that's really treated like royalty here in Las Vegas. But since this is a town that's known for its extravagant hotels, they're constantly needing to outdo one another, whether it's Bellagio up in the fountains or, the Wynn or Encore creating more high-end shopping. One of your favorite video game companies now is coming to Las Vegas and taking things in an entirely new direction. Atari just announced it's opening 8 video game themed hotels across the country, including one right here in Las Vegas. You a big video game guy? You love your video games?
Enough. I just like old stuff. If it's
Yeah.
an old computer, I get excited.
I remember when my dad brought home the Atari, and it was Space Invaders and Asteroids, man. My brother and I were on that thing forever. Hours. The company will break ground on the first hotel in the chain later this year in my hometown of Phoenix, according to a rep from Atari. Atari Hotels. I'm sounding echoey. Did something happen here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, buddy. Atari Hotels level up hotel entertainment with fully immersive experiences for every age and gaming ability, including the latest in VR and AR. What's AR? Actual reality?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality. What's
That's
that?
where you still see reality, but placed in front of it is something virtual. So you see the real world, but
Because
there's
they're little
virtual
helmets.
stuff projected on it. You either see it through your phone, like
That would freak
Pokemon
me out a
Go,
little
where you
bit.
aim your phone at the ground, but there's a little Pokemon that you see on your phone, but you don't see it in the real ground.
Ooh,
That's
Like
AR.
Pokemon Go and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
that's wild. That could throw a lot of people over the edge. You know what I mean? That would flip a lot of. But virtual reality, in and of itself, if it's done at a really high level, it can really trip you out too. But Atari Hotels will have the very best of the best in both virtual reality and augmented reality. And this is exactly what folks want for a family vacation, right? You take the kids somewhere that you dig and that now they will dig, which is cool because Vegas, remember 15 years or so ago when they tried to make this town family friendly?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Because grown-ups need a place. You know what I mean? We need a place. The kids have Orlando, man. The kids have Disneyland.
You come here to make
True. To add to. To add to. So this is pretty cool. The Atari Hotels launching later this year with the first one in Phoenix. All right. I'm going to take you down now to Lebanon, Tennessee. And nothing good's going to happen in a town called Lebanon, Tennessee.
Well, this does.
20-year-old Spencer Allen Boston was in court last Monday on a simple drug possession charge. And it appears that good choices may not be Spencer Allen Boston's forte, as he only made matters worse for himself, lighting up a joint in the courtroom. I saw this on Twitter. You saw this too. The internet went crazy. I mean, listen, do you remember just last week, people went ape over Mitt Romney cracking open a chocolate milk during the impeachment hearings. And now here's this 20-year-old kid firing up a joint with authority, by the way, proud, looking like Charles Manson standing behind that podium and fired up that joint. You think he missed the mark here with the statement he was trying to make? Or because he was doing it as a statement, right? He wanted to say,
Legalize it.
yeah, illegal pot is ridiculous. How has Las Vegas changed with these dispensaries since everything's been legalized here? You guys noticed anything?
No.
I noticed it in Los Angeles. I noticed a big change, especially in the San Fernando Valley, up and down Ventura Boulevard. All of a sudden, every quarter mile, there was a new dispensary. And these are all cash businesses, right? Are they cash businesses here, or can you use your debit cards?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really? Okay.
They have to
God.
be cash. There's
Okay. Jesus.
there's a guard with a big gun. when
This
you
is
go
his
inside.
topic.
Oh yeah,
You a big pot guy?
for sure.
Are you?
For sure. Yeah, like
Do you-
since the old days, since dispensaries were getting shut down in 2010.
Do you smoke it or do you like the edibles?
I actually neither. I vape it.
Oh, you vape it.
Yeah, I evaporate the gladness off and don't mess with fire.
That's a very poetic way of explaining it. So I've been to these dispensaries. They're like, they're like Costco's, man. I mean, they're
Fancier,
They're
though.
beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
They're like the jewelry aisle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a friend. I was here when we did the show from Golden Tiki. My buddy Dan came with me. Dan's from St. Louis. He's a big weed guy. I am not, just because I don't know. It just doesn't agree with my system. I like my red wine or my vodka, all day
I think
long.
it's helped tourism a lot, though.
Well, yes, it has.
Yeah.
But so Dan walked in. He couldn't. I think he was expecting these dispensaries to be in some dude's garage. You know what I mean? Yeah. He walked in, lost his mind. He was buying T-shirts, pipes. They sell everything at these things.
And
There's
if
a drive-thru
the
one.
dispensary is in a garage, you might want to use caution.
Yeah,
If anything's in a garage, buddy,
that's the other kind of dispensary.
The staff at these things, the people that work there are very knowledgeable, very very knowledgeable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are they more knowledgeable than you?
Oh, for sure. They know all the terpenes and like,
The
oh,
what?
and you have the limonene, it helps your lungs. Oh, and you get this myrcene, and
But
it's
isn't
like
that
a blanket. And
a
they
lot
know all
of
these
that
things.
is, listen, they're not, let's be honest, they're not doctors. You know what I mean?
But it's stuff that I've looked up like 10 times, and I can't remember half of it consistently.
Yeah.
And they're
Because you
just
smoke a lot of
chatting.
pot. That's why.
Right, yeah.
It's the timing in which I'm choosing to learn these things is less than.
Isn't the jury still out on a lot of that stuff? Everybody's so high on this CBD oil. How do you know? How do you know?
There's been a lot of serious studies of that one because it's easier to study than something with THC in it.
Yeah.
Because there's no psychoactive effects, they've been able to approve more studies.
Yeah.
So there's more research on benefits of CBD to health things than there even is on the psychoactive effects of
But
THC.
isn't the CBD oil? I think that a reason a lot of people are still skeptical about it is because it has that holistic punch to it. And there are some. Listen, if anything works, I'm all for it. I don't care if it's holistic or Western medicine. I will go. My kids were vaccinated. I will go. I will take any medicine if I am sick.
Yeah.
I don't care. Give it to me if it makes me feel better. But the CBD oils, it's still so new, man. And I think that you've got a few people that bark very loudly on social media, like, "Oh, I got arthritis in my knee, and I rubbed this stuff on there one time, and I'm running marathons." Come on, man.
Obviously, there's hype and there's people overselling things, but compared to like pomegranates or whatever the latest vitamin C craze is, Asahi,
Yeah.
there's more evidence behind it and more of
Asahi.
those goods. Remember the Asahi?
Yeah.
When you like a $200 bottle of it, and then it was just like $4 at the grocery
Was
store.
that a
later.
drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's pomegranate.
No, Asahi's a
scams.
beer, isn't it? Isn't
No,
Asahi a
no.
Japanese beer?
That's ahi, I think. But Asahi is a berry.
But that Japanese
So-
beer makes me feel better. No, you're thinking of acai.
Yeah.
That's
the one.
That I called Asia for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get those bowls.
Before that-
Asahi's a beer, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Asahi is a beer. You're the acai.
That
yeah.
sounds like the same word to me, so I'm going to totally agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that beer will make you feel good. You get a couple of those in you. Have you tried the CBD oils?
I have, and the thing is, when I had like a connection, it was cheaper, but otherwise I don't have the money to be tossing extra stuff on top of what other my health stuff already costs.
Wait a minute. So it's more expensive now that it's legal?
No, it's getting more affordable, but it's
You're
not
just spending
cheap
all
enough.
you're spending all your money on weed.
I'd rather buy the kind that I notice what
If
it
you've got
does
$50,
right
you're going to
away.
go get weed
Exactly.
instead of
Yeah.
the
I mean,
CBD oil.
there's a sprinkle of CBD in there too somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They've got it for your dogs too, they say. Now, what
Must
a
be nice.
What a waste of money that is, because your dog's not going to say, "Hey, man, God, I slept like a baby last night."
well, joints is the thing is there's all these different things people say that it affects, but there's certain things that it particularly really does affect. Joint pain. So a dog with crappy joints is going to have a good deal with it. muscle soreness, things that
They deserve to get high too.
yeah.
I bet
blow a
your
whiff at the
dog's
cat's
high all the
face.
time.
Yeah, the cat will come up and request it directly. Meow all crazy until I give her a little puff in the face. Then she gives me a little salute and walks off all glad.
You know what? Maybe I should start smoking pot because the fact that you think your cat comes up and requests it and then salutes you after the request is granted, that's a pretty good life you're living there. That's a good life. All right. Okay. This is probably my worst nightmare, and it takes place in a town called Rose Hill, Kansas. Talking about 20 miles southeast of Wichita, Kansas. Police officers there received a 911 call. This is just a few days ago when a family found a 6-foot boa constrictor living in the couch, dude. Living in the couch. All right. So when I am on my couch, I cannot speak for others, but I often do. When I am on my couch, that is when I am my most relaxed.
Yeah.
That is when, if somebody were going to burst into Casa de Razzle Dazzle and rob me blind, do it while I'm sitting on the couch because I am not expecting it. And the last thing I'm expecting is a 6-foot boa constrictor living in the couch.
Especially coming up from below.
God, have you ever sat on the toilet and thought, I hope a snake doesn't come crawling up? Have you ever thought of
Yeah, I'll
that?
check sometimes.
When you're high or when you're straight?
Well, you always got to check for the snake.
God, what could you imagine? What would you do? What would you do, Jay, if a snake... When I used the bathroom here at the Kicker Studios, I looked first to make sure there wasn't a snake coming up from under there.
There's been other things, so I don't blame you. No,
Coming up-
I'm not. I'm not scared of snakes.
Even when they catch you unexpectedly?
No, not really.
You know, when I moved to Arizona and I bought this house that I love, I live in a part of Arizona where there are a lot of snowbirds, you know. So this time of year, it's much more crowded than it is in the summer because these folks go back to where they live the majority of the time. But one of my neighbors is a snowbird, an older fella from the East Coast, and he told me right when I bought this house. And I don't like to talk to my neighbors much. I kind of like to keep to myself. And everybody has walls around their yards, you know, specifically for that reason. They say it's to keep coyotes out of your yard. It's because we don't want to talk to each other. If we're being frank. But this guy caught me in the front yard, you know, got me going out to get the mail. Got to do it. Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm calls it the stop and chat. Got to do the stop and chat, you know. So anyway, he told me that a way to keep rattlesnakes, because I'm right in the middle of the desert, the way to keep rattlesnakes out is to piss in your yard.
Oh.
He said, this is an older fella. We're talking like Native American wisdom here. And that's it, because I Googled it, and there is zero science behind this, too. But he said that the rattlesnakes, they catch the aroma, and they'll simply go somewhere else. It's unpleasant to them. So, do you know that for the 4 years I've lived in this house, it's every morning...
He's never peed inside.
No, I have. I have. But my first and my last of the day take place in my backyard.
Nice.
I wake up early before the sun comes up. I let my dogs out. I take a leak right there in the yard. Last time the dogs go out, other side of the yard. You know, in one door, out the other. And I have never seen a rattlesnake, let alone a 6-foot boa constrictor, by the way.
Welcome. No, neither have I. Grown up my whole life in the desert. Never had a snake in my yard.
Do you pee in your yard?
I grew up as a kid thinking that was like an acceptable place. So
That's
tradition
probably
continues.
why. And we cannot read too much into this internet thing, right? Maybe it doesn't know everything. And by the way, how would any expert know what a rattlesnake feels about the scent of human urine? There's nothing. They have no idea.
There's people that keep rattlesnakes in bins and can like A/B test them, like those dog food commercials. Which way will the snake go?
Yeah.
It's going away from the human urine.
Yeah. I guess you could
I've
do
met
that.
some crazy herpetologists with my ex-wife working at Petco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people that would have done this for sport.
Your ex-wife worked at Petco?
Yeah, those Petco people. That's amateur herpetologists.
How long? Oh, yeah, they know everything, don't they, the Petco people? How long were you married?
That was for 4 years.
Oh, was that
Current
your only
one's
marriage?
7 years though.
Look at
so
you,
I'm
man.
I'm doing good on number
God,
2.
you are a Romeo. You are a Romeo. Did
It's the pot.
yeah? Does your wife
Dish it out.
smoke pot?
She does.
That's good. How did you guys meet?
Well,
Over pot?
I was her dealer. For
Really?
Sure, yeah. No, we also yes, but not exclusively. We worked at a music store together.
Oh, and there's a lot of pot in a music
Yeah.
store. What music store was around 7 years ago?
It was
Weren't they all gone?
actually a 2011 3rd Street downtown vintage guitars on 3rd Street. So it was a bar.
So it wasn't
too.
a record store. It was
No,
you sold
it
instruments.
Instruments, a bar, which was pretty cool with a stage in it. So it was a nightmare for getting the city to approve these different businesses in the same building.
Yeah.
But I ran the repair department. That was the only department that made money there.
Oh, that's cool. Good for you, man. Before our guests start to arrive here, and we're going to be joined by a couple of people that I'm very, very excited to talk to. First of all, Jennifer Romas from Sexy the Show at the Westgate Resort. I saw the show last night, and Jennifer is the star. She is the choreographer. She is the creator. She is the boss babe behind this. And it is a wonderful.
She is the bathtub dancer.
I'm going to talk to her about that. That is art. That's art.
Oh, it is absolutely.
And she's just absolutely an incredible woman. So I'm excited to speak to her in a little bit. Another guy, or a guy that I believe is probably the epitome of Las Vegas entertainment right now, in every aspect. First of all, he is an incredibly talented performer. He is an energetic, high-voltage performer. He performs in all the right places, from Fremont Street to the Westgate to the Monte Carlo to the Red Rock. Zoe Bowie is going to be here in a little bit. His name is Chris Phillips. I have known Chris for many years, since we were doing a show here in Las Vegas. And truly, he is and Jay, you'll attest, he is one of the friendliest guys. Isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's great.
And he does so much for local charities and so much for the community that it's just a real thrill to be able to speak with Chris.
And everybody in his family is beautiful. His daughter's beautiful.
His
Wife
wife,
is beautiful. Stepson is a good-looking model dude.
And I think his baby's like 2 years old now.
Yeah,
so
2 or
we're going to
3.
talk to him about juggling, this hectic, crazy life as a Las Vegas performer, and then also being a dad, because I know how much that role means to him. Before our guests do arrive, though, a couple things that I wanted to mention. The 8th and final season of Homeland premieres this Sunday night, which is at the time of this recording. If you are listening to this on a later date, February 9th on Showtime. Do you guys watch Homeland? Claire Danes, Mandy Patinkin. Fabulous show. And this is going to be the final season. Now, it was originally set to kick off during the summer. But if you've watched the show, and it has legions of fans, if you've watched the show, you know that the production value of this, to be able to create a weekly television show of this caliber, is off the charts. They shoot internationally in places that are not easy to shoot. Look, it's not easy to get a license to shoot anywhere. It's expensive. It's time consuming. Chris Phillips is here. He said, just said, it's time consuming. So they were going to launch this current season in the summer. It got pushed back a little bit due to demands, but it is so perfectly executed that I don't think any true fans of the show mind a little bit of a wait. We'll trade a few delays for some authenticity that this show provides. So the 8th and final season of Homeland premieres this Sunday night on HBO, and I think they're smart for wrapping it up when they are. The writing is top notch, and they've nailed it perfectly. So Chris Phillips, the great Zoe Bowie from Las Vegas, joins us here on RadioVegasRocks.
Up next.
And the host with the most podcast. viciousness. We'll take a short break. Be right back. More live from Vegas after
Hey,
this.
dudes with beards, I'm here to tell you about Mad Viking Beard Company. What is that, you ask? Well, that's a good question. They are the best beard products and men's grooming company since 2013. Guys, drop the razor, because with Mad Viking Beard Company, they kill the beard itch and give you what you need to grow a better beard. Like beard oils, relieves beard itch, creates a healthier and more manageable beard, reduces brittle beard hair and breakage, like split ends. The natural oils help promote a fuller and longer growth, giving you a little bit of hold, and it acts as a styling agent to keep those flyaway hairs in place. Then there's the beard wash. Not your average store-bought chemical-laden concoction, all right? Mad Viking Beard Wash, it's sulfate-free, paraben-free, offers top-to-bottom clean and conditioning experience all in one, providing a deep, all-natural, sulfate-free clean with a rich, conditioning finish for a soft, moisturized face and beard, for the ladies. To order, visit www.RadioVegas.rocks and click on the banner to order now.
Hey, Radio Vegas Rocks listeners. It's your favorite habitual line stepper, Sober Sal from the Not Playing Stupid podcast. For those who know me, I'm all about barbecue. The problem I always run into is finding a place when I'm out of town that is, one, amazing, and two, won't cut into my drinking money. So next time you're in Vegas, you gotta check out Jesse Ray's Barbecue. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is an award-winning barbecue joint that serves Vegas's best slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and my favorite, brisket. Trust me when I say it's not just good, it's delicious. So before you blow your kids' college fund at the roulette wheel, or marry the chick you met 5 hours ago while playing Keno, make sure you do it on a full, happy stomach at Jesse Ray's Barbecue, located at 5611 South Valley View Boulevard, right behind the Mandalay Bay Casino. Mention you heard this ad from my show, and you get a free punch in the mouth from sweet old Jesse Ray herself. That got some kick. So don't forget Jesse Ray's Barbecue, where they're all about that butt.
Why do we love the Golden Tiki so much? How about the handcrafted tiki drinks made with freshly squeezed juices, homemade syrups, and top shelf booze? These aren't your cruise ship pre-mixed cocktails. These specialty drinks take time and are for the true cocktail enthusiasts. Located in the strip mall in Chinatown, it's truly a hidden hideaway. Well, hidden if you don't know the address, it's 3939 Spring Mountain Road. This place is what my tiki bar dreams are made of, an adult version to Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, complete with alcohol-infused Dole Whip and dirty talking birds, with drink names like Navy Grog, Terrible Twisted, and Dirty Banana. And last but not least, a shot of empathy named Kraken. These drinks will have you back and back again. From the kick-ass atmosphere, hidden Easter eggs in the bar, like Bigfoot's footprint, and don't forget to rub the golden dong for good luck. From live music to DJs that will make you feel like you're on a tropical vacation. The Golden Tiki, 3939 Spring Mountain Road. That's the Golden Tiki, 3939 Spring Mountain Road.
Kicker bullfrogs are waterproof, dirt-proof, and drop-proof. Feeling froggy? Hop online to kicker.com and see the entire family of Bullfrog products. Or visit your nearest Kicker retailer to get yours today.
On your back and your head is caving in. Life has no meaning, gone off track. You feel like sleeping in. There's a nectar from the gods that you left undiscovered. Just mix it with water and you will see as if this is your destiny. Is your destiny.
Couldn't believe the words were coming out of my mouth, but apparently I felt pretty strongly about it. Regulated by nobody but our internet provider and our ability to pay the bill. This is RadioVegas.Rocks.
We are coming to you live from the great city of Las Vegas. This is the Host with the Most podcast. Welcome to it. I'm Todd Newton. ToddNewtonOnline.com is my official website, and there you can connect with us on all forms of social media if you so desire. And these are special shows. It's a very special treat for me to get to come to Las Vegas. Vegas has always been kind of a second home to me. We did the Price is Right live stage show here for 6 years at the Great Bally's Casino. And during that time, I really felt as if when you work in Las Vegas, you really feel as if you're part of the entertainment industry. There is so much history here and such a legacy. True showmanship, I believe, was born here. Such entertainers like Sinatra and Dean Martin and, of course, Elvis and Judy Garland and Shecky Green, regardless of what your flavor of entertainment is, took live performing to an entirely new level and introduced it to people from all over the country who never had access to these types of performers, who had never seen this type of entertainment. And when I worked here in Las Vegas, I got to meet some incredible performers, and you truly form genuine friendships with these people, and you see what a difference it is here in Las Vegas than, say, back in Hollywood. It's very, very different. And the gentleman that's sitting to my right now, if you're watching us on RadioVegas.Rocks, obviously you know Las Vegas and you know this face and that beautiful hair and those white teeth.
But enough about me.
Yeah, right. That's crazy, Jay. The great Zoe Bowie, Chris Phillips. Great to see you, brother.
Well, I got to be honest. You just listed off a slew of names that kept me from going to college.
Yeah, same here, man. Or made me decide that college was not for me.
Well, I'm so happy and proud to be here, and welcome to Las Vegas, my
Thank
friend.
you, man.
And,
It's
I'll
so
tell
great
you,
to be back.
To be sitting here with you is quite an honor. You know, you and I have a history.
We certainly do.
Some people don't know we served some time back in the 80s, and we got to know each other quite well.
That's right. Well, we thank God for those early releases.
No, I've always been your biggest fan, and so
Thank
the
you,
fact
buddy.
that you asked me to be part of your show, I am absolutely honored. And I think it's just going to lead to more trouble this afternoon. But,
Yeah, probably will.
Nonetheless, welcome
Probably
to
will.
town, and
I want to
I'm
talk
happy
to
to be
you.
here.
I want to talk to you. First of all, let me share some praise for Zoe Bowie.
God.
If you've never been to Las Vegas, you're planning a trip to Las Vegas, you are going to see the signs for Zoe Bowie. If you're looking online for shows to see, you're going to see Zoe Bowie. He's been called the #1 nightclub party dance high energy band in the country. In the country. He is a 7-time Best of Las Vegas winner. Most recently, just last year, right?
Well, you know, the beautiful thing is the Vegas.
Is it 8?
Well,
Are you going to correct me? It's 8. Yeah.
Can't remember yesterday. But I will say that the Las Vegas locals have been very charitable to the elderly, and so I'm very proud to say that we're doing something right, I suppose. But as anybody has ever been to see us, they know that it has nothing to do with me or our show. It has to do with the people that come to see us.
Mm-hmm.
And we just reflect their energy, and we're here for them to facilitate their good time and the trouble that I hope they get into during the course of the evening.
But you know what you do, and I know that you're a very big fan of the Rat Pack era, as I am. We've even discussed that many years ago, and I think tomorrow night you've got your... you're doing the Zoe Bowie show again, right?
Yeah, most people know Zoe Bowie as this high-energy nightclub concert, so to speak, kind of more of a party than even a show.
Right.
But I'm doing that, to be honest, as half of why I came to Las Vegas, and the other half is to kind of keep the old maverick spirit of what this city was based on alive and well. And essentially what that means is to produce a full-scale vintage Vegas big band orchestra that performs the songs that I would consider to be kind of the songbook of Vegas, the soundtrack of Vegas.
Right.
And of course talking about Sinatra and Elvis and Tom Jones and Stephen Eady and Paul Anka and these people that were so instrumental in creating the vibe and the image of what I think this city was about and hopefully forever will be about. And it takes dorks like me to still kind of keep that thing alive and going in terms of on a live stage show.
Listen, dorks like us, man, because I agree with you. And as more and more years go by, you see less and less. I don't want to say less appreciation for that, because the
No, you do.
appreciation
You're absolutely
but
right.
legions, the numbers of people that flock to that type of entertainment, the numbers dwindle every year, and that's just evolution. That's life, and you've got a different age group, a different demographic coming to Las Vegas now. So you really have to search and dig and research that incredible history. From the old Sands Hotel, the Sahara, the Desert Inn, all the magic that was created
Yeah,
there.
you just listed off iconic shrines that came out of the desert to lure people from around the world to this magical place where you could come and do and be something you couldn't be or do back home.
Yeah.
And, things have changed, of course, over the years. And certainly what used to be a showroom show is now a nightclub DJ that lures in the masses of young people with money looking for trouble. And that's fine. That's the evolution of the way things go. But I think there's still a certain demographic of people that come here seeking out that flavor that they've come to get used to over the years as being that kind of Vegas feeling or vibe or sense of what music and style is supposed to be about. Because I remember when I came here for the first time in the mid-'70s, everybody was so dressed up, and it was all about the showroom show. And you could go see Sammy Davis Jr. or Frank Sinatra at 2 in the morning.
Right.
Whereas now it's the DJ at 2 in the morning.
Right.
That doesn't exist at all anymore. There's no shows that are that late, except for maybe myself. But I think that there is going to come a time, and I think we've started to, just as of the last year, see a swing, a pendulum, swinging back to the need for not only live entertainment, but for kind of that classic, classy thing with the advent of
puppies.
Sorry, sometimes I break out in a cry that sounds like a 2-year-old.
Ava.
I've got my little 2-year-old daughter here with me, by the
she's
way,
so
because mommy's at
beautiful.
work. But, they've just opened up this place called Mayfair at the Bellagio. And they're doing other such things here in town that are catering to that supper club type element that has not existed in years.
Yeah.
And they're bringing back class and talent and live performers. And, that in my opinion, can't be anything but good for the city.
Well, let's talk about where it all started for you. We're both Arizona guys, and the whole Zoe Bowie concept began in the great city of Scottsdale, Arizona. And was the dream always to come to Las Vegas?
It started in 1975, actually, when I came here for the very first time.
Oh, your games. Let me get your games, sweetheart. Get your games.
Let's take a break.
It's so funny to see what has happened with me over the years and what I used to be compared to today.
Yeah, right.
People used to call me daddy. Now I am a daddy. It really boils down to that. But
listen, I know that's not the first time you've used that joke, but man, it resonated with me.
My life at 3 in the morning used to be something very different than coming home and changing diapers.
Yeah.
And now in a couple of years, it's going to be my wife changing my diaper. So,
well, hey, we're going to take a. I'm sorry.
No,
we're going to talk about Scottsdale.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to finish answering your question.
Please do.
So
And then
sorry
Crazy Jay's itching to pay the bills here with his commercials. Yeah, but go ahead. So Scottsdale, but Vegas came calling.
Just in 2 seconds. Since 1975, I came here for the first time, saw Tony Orlando at the Hilton Hotel, and he came right off the stage, right down to my booth, shook my hand and said, "Welcome to Las Vegas, young man."
Wow.
And from that second, I was like, I want to be a Vegas guy for the simple reason that if I can make people feel the way he just made me feel, that's what I want to dedicate my life to. So it's not just about performing or going to Hollywood and writing music. I could care less about any of that.
Right.
I want to make people feel good when they come to Las Vegas and give them the sense of what I think the city is supposed to be about. And, when you come to see my show, I try to make everybody in the audience feel like we're family within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that this is the greatest city in the world, which it absolutely is.
Have you had the opportunity to tell Tony what?
Not only has he come to my show, but he came back in my dressing room and we sat and I said, "Tony, I got to be honest. The only reason I'm doing this is because of the inspiration you gave me almost 40 some odd years ago. And if it wasn't for that moment, I may have gone to college and become successful." So, and what's so funny, he then said, "Chris, I had the exact same story that happened to me in 1962 when I didn't know really where I was going. I wanted to sing and all, but I went and saw this guy and he did the same thing with me. and his name was Bobby Darin.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, and it was an amazing story, and still to this day, he's still energizing people and putting smiles on faces
Oh, you
as
bet
much
he
as
is.
he did 40 years ago, if
You
not
bet-
even more so now.
you bet he
He's
is.
an incredible guy. And
The,
I know his son pretty well too. Is a cool dude.
They're a great family. We did Price is Right in Branson for a long time and shared his theater, the Tony Orlando Theater at the Welk Resort there.
Yeah.
So that was
what
neat.
And talk about a guy that's got a spirit that is not only electrifying, but it just gives that sense of making you feel accepted and warm and appreciated. And I think that those kind of guys are kind of few and far between at this point
For
in Vegas.
sure. For sure.
And I hope that kind of thing never goes away. The essence of a guy coming out with nothing more than a spotlight and a cocktail and a big orchestra behind him, and without all these pyrotechnics and flying monkeys and all the things that go into big lavish productions these days.
Who was his musical director? A woman. She played keyboards in his band, and she wrote. Oh man, she wrote one of the most. Oh, she wrote that commercial. For the cat food, that meow 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 meow
you've gotta
meow
be
meow.
kidding
meow.
me.
She wrote that, and obviously, when it comes down to residuals and royalties, that's a legit song. You know what I mean? She wrote. What was her name?
Oh, absolutely. You can live off that kind.
Do you
of
know who I'm talking about? I know who you mean. Yeah. I can't think of her name, but very sweet woman. But you're right, Tony Orlando. And my one Tony Orlando story when we were in Branson after the show, he said, "Hey, let's go celebrate at IHOP."
You're kidding me.
No,
see, that's the kind of guy he is.
IHOP.
Because what you see on stage is genuine, is what you're going to get off
You
stage,
better
and that's why
believe
it
it.
works.
You better
Because like
believe
with
it.
my show, there is absolutely zero difference between the guy that's talking to you right
Right.
now and then when I walk up on stage. And I love the fact that I don't have to become a character or play a role or speak somebody else's words or some choreographed moves. It's 100% unscripted, unchoreographed, and that can be great or that can be not so great, depending on how many cocktails I've had. But that's a whole other story.
Well, we'll take a short break, and when we come back with Chris Phillips of Zoe Bowie, we're going to take you inside the mind that creates this incredibly high-energy must-see show. We're going to talk about how performing is not, like Chris said, creating a different character, but it is enhancing certain values and trying to get across certain things that you want the audience to feel, that you want the audience to experience. More with Zoe Bowie coming up on the Host with the Most podcast right after this.
Be sure to get your mix of music. Listen to us with the RadioVegas.Rocks app available at the App Store. And check out our VIP card, interact with us in our chat room, and scheduling of our RadioVegas.Rocks shows, plus podcasts. It's all available on RadioVegas.Rocks app.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. They're still using whatever bar their mommy bought for her little man. Is that what you want? To smell like mama's little man? Now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who open the pickle jar on the first try. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. Dare I say, soft. You want to smell like the forest? Boom, pine tar. We've got you. You want to smell like the sea? Boom, nautical sage. We've got you. You want to smell like you just got off a boat in the Caribbean? Boom, bay rum. We've got you. We ship it right to your door. And with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, if it's not the best bar of soap you've ever used, it's on us. Tens of thousands of men already soap-scribe, which means that every month, fresh new bars of Squatch show up at their door. Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. Real soap for real men.
Hey guys, to subscribe to Dr. Squatch, visit RadioVegas.Rocks and click on the banner.
These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evil Knievel.
Hi, it's Waz from Greasy Conversation. Did you know the pioneering stuntman Evil Knievel, the world record motorcycle jumping father of extreme sports himself, lives on spiritually in the satiny dough and hearty brick cheese of the pizza that bears his name?
Evil Knievel.
Evil Pie, that's E-V-E-L, on glistening East Fremont Street in the heart of downtown Las Vegas. They've been thriving here since back in 2016 because, unlike our hero, it's not dangerous. The flavor isn't even risky, but it is braggadocious. I get the world-famous Snake River special with the rattlesnake sausage. Honestly, it's great. I do love it, and it makes me feel like a mighty conqueror of perilous beasts. Vegans, don't tune me out. This place is known for their vegan pizza too. So get over there. Just make sure you check the RadioVegas.Rocks app first. That app will have new specials just for RadioVegas.Rocks listeners. Show them the app and satisfy your lust for excitement.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497.
What is Jesse Ray's Barbecue? Well, it's a tiny, unassuming place with a modest menu of platters, sandwiches, and house-made sauces. Located at 5611 South Valley View. By the smell alone, you're gonna know you're in the right place. Come try the award-winning slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and brisket. The sauce is also something to talk about, as you will want to eat it with every bite. Here's a tip. Their sauces are available for purchase. When people ask you, how do you like Jesse Ray's Barbecue? You'll say, like most people I know, I don't like it, I love it. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is 100% legit. Stop on by for a meal that will satisfy your barbecue-loving lips. Mention RadioVegas.Rocks for 10% off your order. Jesse Ray's, located at 5611 South Valley View on the corner of Valley View and Russell. Come in, take a bite, find out why they're so award-winning.
We are #1 at the Vegas bus station.
Now, throw the switch and let us begin the battle for the planet.
RadioVegas.Rocks, where Vegas goes to rock.
Yeah. Las Vegas Magazine proclaimed Zoe Bowie is to Sin City today what Frank Sinatra and Anne Margaret were to Vegas back in the 60s. That is
In other words, I've been dead for years.
Welcome back to the Host with the Most podcast. We are live here in the great city of Las Vegas. I'm Todd Newton, along with Chris Phillips of Zoe Bowie, the must-see show in Las Vegas. When you hear praise like that, that's just got to make you feel like $1 million.
Well, it is, because obviously the reason I came here was to emulate the attitude and the spirit and the charisma that these people had. If I could even stand on the same stage as them, let alone do what they do, would be a dream come true. And I've been so very blessed to be able to do that now here successfully. I guess for 14 years I've been here, but I'm going. This year actually is my 25th anniversary of calling myself Zoe Bowie and doing this silly show that I do. And the crazy part about it is we have not had one single week off in 24 years.
Isn't that great?
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
And
God
the
bless
guys
you,
in the
man.
band, they don't want a night off. They don't want a week off.
Right.
And
Well,
so,
let's talk about. I want to talk about what the band is, what the show is, but let's start with the name, Zoe Bowie.
Well, I'll tell you, it
has nothing to do with David Bowie.
No, and what's so crazy is that if you would have told me 25 years ago when I decided to call myself this because I needed an excuse to hide behind, at the time, something other than Chris Phillips walking up on stage, because I'd never sang. I was in my late 20s. There were some friends of mine in Tempe who were in an early 80s novelty type band, and the singer got
Back
sick.
in Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
You probably remember the guys, but called Rock Lobster.
Oh,
Kevin's-
yeah, of course.
these
They're
guys.
still doing their
Yeah,
things.
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. They haven't got a life either.
Right.
And no, I think the word is that they haven't grown up either. Is really more appropriate. And so their singer wasn't able to do this particular big show they had coming up, and they said, "Chris, we know you've always wanted to be David Lee Roth, and these singing flamboyant characters. Here is your chance. If you want to do it,
He
the
grabbed
opportunity is there." And I jumped on it, but when the reality set in, I realized I was scared to death because I'd never held a microphone before.
Yeah.
I'd never sang before.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, maybe if I pretend to be David Bowie's son, Zoe Bowie, I could walk up there, sing 2 or 3 songs, fall on my face, and who cares? I'm David Bowie's kid.
That's right. That's right.
And it was a insecurity factor that created the name, really. And I didn't particularly have any, obsession with David
Right.
Bowie. I was a fan, but
Right.
it wasn't because I dreamt of doing his music or anything. And to this day, we might do one of his songs on my show, and that's about it. But it was something that after I did this particular show, I walked off the stage, and at the time I was a long-haired heavy metal drummer.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the pictures
on
your Instagram.
I immediately cut the hair, sold the drums, bought a microphone, and said, "This is my future."
It's so great.
And I want to spend every waking hour trying to do what I can here in Tempe, Arizona, to eventually wind up doing something that I always had this childhood dream of, and that's to be the Vegas guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, as the years went by, the novelty fell by the wayside, but the name stuck. And 25 years later, it's become much more of a brand than
Yeah.
a band.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm stuck with the damn name. And
Well,
that's
listen, I think it's great. It's so easy to remember. It's so easy. It easily rolls off the tongue. Hey, did you catch Zoe Bowie? So when we go see
Right,
your show,
right.
first of all, run through the schedule because you are performing more than anybody else in town right
Well,
now.
gosh.
And you're all over the city.
Yes, we perform regularly for the last 10 years out on the Fremont Street Experience every Thursday and Saturday to thousands of crazy people
Yeah,
that
you do.
come together from all over the world looking for that Vegas experience. And we have headlined what's called the America's Party down there on New Year's Eve live all over the country on CBS for the last several years, hosted by myself and the mayor, and we do our show and whatnot. But I've also been at the venue that brought me here originally and gave me my big start here in Vegas that changed my life, and that is Red Rock.
It's where I
one of the station
celebrated
casinos.
I turned 40 years old with you. You probably don't remember, but I got.
I
up
don't
on
remember that long ago, Todd.
I don't. Listen,
He
I
doesn't
barely
remember yesterday.
I barely remember it either,
No,
but
of
it was a
course.
heck of a party, man. It was a good
I
one.
remember, and I remember us driving around in my convertible down this. Well, that's a whole nother
With
story.
our buddy Frankie.
Yes, but
The night he
nonetheless-
told us, we'd both known him for years, and he said, "Well, my wife," and we're like, "Wait a minute, you're married? We've known you 5 years. You're married? We had no idea." I love that guy, man.
He's a great guy.
I love him.
And so I was there 14 years, which is unheard of in this town because
Yeah.
most shows don't last 14 days. But again, it has to do with the locals, and we're so blessed that they were willing to, seem to come and have some fun with us, and so we kept the party going. But since then, just even recently in the last couple months, decided to branch out, and now we are all over the city and do regular shows at Sunset Station, Mandalay Bay. We're there every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
The Cannery up in North Vegas. We're still out in Summerlin at, like you mentioned, tomorrow.
Right.
Suncoast in their showroom at 8 o'clock doing my
All over.
Vintage Vegas big band show.
Yeah.
But, we also do corporate and private events all over the country as well,
Right.
charity events and that type of
And
thing.
you can stay on top of this schedule by following Chris on Instagram at Zoe Bowie. He's very, very good at telling his fans where he's going to be. When we go to a Zoe Bowie show, it is in your face party music from the get-go. And you mentioned how you like to make folks feel welcome to Las Vegas in the first 5 minutes. You do that. You come out, you shake hands, you welcome everybody to the entertainment capital of the world. The energy is there. It doesn't stop. The show and the band has gone through some incarnations over the years.
Yes.
And you've got this incredibly talented roster that kind of rotates.
Yes.
The female singers, you're out there from start to finish pretty much. But some of the ladies that join you now bring a really special flair to this show.
Well, I realized a long time ago, to be a success, you have to have a beautiful lady next to you and a bunch of gaudy jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really, between
Amen.
that, vodka, and Botox, that's pretty much the formula for Zoe Bowie in a nutshell. I wish I was kidding. In any case, but no,
Yeah.
it's like you said. I love the fact that it's more of a party for the people.
Yeah.
Than it is something where I'm trying to show off my incredible singing talent.
And how often are you updating the set list? Because everything is
well.
current. I mean, it's nonstop for you, right?
Yes, and when I set out to do this many years ago, I wanted to be a band that kind of performed music like a DJ does, where it's just nonstop medleys of music.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of playing full songs for the most part, we chop it up like a DJ do.
Yeah.
We kind of suck the jelly from the donut, so to speak.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I rearranged the actual tunes, so in my opinion, it grabs people's attention from the second you start playing the song, so it's very familiar. And then we move on to the next one. So, 2 minutes into it, you're not excited about this song. Who cares? We're on to the next tune.
Right.
But with that said, we also, in our other show, Vintage Vegas Show, it is about the song. It's about the lyric. It's about the story. With the Zoe Bowie Dance Band, it's about the good time and the party and trying to keep people moving on the dance floor. So it's two very different things, but delivered with the same attitude.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't change at all. I wouldn't know how to be anybody else. I would be, if somebody hired me to be in a movie or a musical, I would bomb because I would just revert right back to who I am and ruin the whole show.
I'm with you. And there was the hosting. I mean, I can't sing a lick, and I've never done what you do, but to try to relate it to the hosting world and
exactly
what I
what you
do, there was a time when people would say, just be natural, be natural. And I would always say, no. People don't turn the television on to see natural. They want a slightly exaggerated version of life. And whether I'm hosting a game show or hosting a television show, it's always me, but it's a slightly exaggerated version. Same with Zoe Bowie. When I go see you, it's the same guy. You talk to me from the stage, you high five your fans and friends, and you've got a very loyal following that come and see you. But you're not wearing what you're wearing here, and nobody would want that. They expect more, right?
No, of course. It's like a circus.
Yeah.
It's
Circus.
especially here in Las Vegas. You want to go and you want to live vicariously through this character you see up on stage that's having the time of his life.
That's right.
And also, the bands and people that I was inspired by, even the sophisticated ones, there was an element of danger.
Yeah. Oh,
meaning that not for your safety, but for the person on stage.
Yeah.
My God, this person, is he going to fall off the stage? Is he going to lose his mind? It's something. It's like you can't stop watching something that you feel like could be an accident any second.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like you said, it's about exaggerating who you are and giving everything you can every time. And that's the element. It doesn't matter if it's, and I know you know this, 2 people or 22,000 people, zero difference. In terms of the delivery, the excitement, the energy, and the show that they deserve to see.
I read a quote.
Because they got ready. They got in the shower, and they drove down there, and they want to see something.
That's right. Or they flew here.
Or they flew here even more so.
And they're paying $150, $175 a night. Everything, when you come to Las Vegas, everything you deserve for everything to be top shelf. And as entertainers, we want to give you that. I read a quote from Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Oh, that's great.
And this was I don't know, he was releasing one of a book that he releases every year, and repackages it and resells it. He's a genius. But they said, let's go back to the time when Kiss was playing bars and only 4 people showed up. And you were just 4 guys up there wearing makeup, playing music for no one. And Gene said, I don't remember that time. I remember times when we would go on stage and have to tell each other, every night's the Garden. Every night's the Garden.
Yeah, that's right.
And it doesn't matter. I've seen you on Fremont Street when there are thousands of people when you can't walk. And I've seen you at Red Rock when it's a kind of a showroom type club. And the energy doesn't fade. And the people that come to Las Vegas, they absolutely deserve that. And when you're speaking of energy, I look at your Instagram. You are truly a man who's on top of the world.
Well,
You've got such a beautiful family, beautiful Ava who's here, your beautiful wife Jennifer, but you're performing to the early morning hours, and I know what it's like to have a 2-year-old at home. Where are you getting this from?
Well, as you know, when you come home from a show, and with me, sometimes we play till 2 o'clock in the morning,
and you don't get to sleep till 5.
You can't.
Right.
The adrenaline going through is like a locomotive, as you know. And then, speaking of locomotives, who's hanging on my back right now?
And Ava's not going to let you sleep till 2 in the afternoon.
No, sir. But we try to keep her up as late as possible just so she'll sleep in. But she's always up at least by 8 o'clock, which means I'm sleeping many times 3 or 4 hours a night.
Yeah,
most
and
times.
then getting up and doing it again.
And I do it gladly because I'll tell you something.
Course, man.
With someone with children like yourself, once you have them, you can't imagine life without them, and you do anything for them. But up until I found out my wife was pregnant, I had no intention of having kids.
Yeah.
I thought that wasn't in the cards for me.
Yeah.
I'm way too far irresponsible for that kind of nonsense.
Right, you thought.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But then, boy, does it change your life quickly.
It sure does.
And for the better,
And
obviously.
it's funny. My son, my son, who's 18 now, just came to one of my shows. We played in Chandler, in Scottsdale,
yes,
Chandler,
of course.
at the beautiful Chandler Center for the Arts. And my son came, and this show started right when my son was born. So this has been his entire life. Now, he's seen the show a million times, but for me to be standing up on that stage and to look down and see him was such a joy for me and such a thrill, because you realize that, wow, this really is why I'm doing it. I mean, I'm so lucky to be able to do what I love to do for a living, but to be able to do it in front of my child, with my child.
Yes, that's
and
so
someday
satisfying.
she'll be there, you know? And
it's awesome. And there's nothing I think that tickles me more than I walk in the room. And her big thing right now is to go on YouTube and watch her little gummy bear videos and things like that. But I'll find her many times on the Zoe Bowie channel.
See, there's your next lead singer.
Listening to Zoe Bowie videos. And she's singing along. And there's something about that, even though they're not.
Yeah.
And there's one video in particular. I wrote the song for the Golden Knights. We did a
That's
commercial.
right. Yeah.
And to see her singing along, it's like, oh my God, it just breaks your heart.
And you know what? No matter how cool you are, no matter how cool of a gig you've got, no matter how many thousands of people dance
It
and
all
scream
comes
your
right
name,
back.
nothing will slam the brakes on it by your kids telling you, oh, you're not that cool. You know what I mean? It's like, how much cooler of a job do I have to have?
With me, in my case, that's my wife.
I had one of those once. I get it. I understand what you're saying.
Jennifer is who is my
Special
wife.
lady,
I've
yeah.
been now married for about 3 years, and gave me
In a row?
this-
3 years in a row?
Well, in Vegas, she never quite.
That's
knows.
right. That's yeah.
Take some time off.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
No, in this case, we have a very unusually traditional, old-fashioned kind of existence with our home life.
Does that balance you out? Because
it does,
you're
because I'm an
the rest of your
old-fashioned
world.
guy.
Yeah.
I come from very conservative, old-fashioned type of background. Where my father was an attorney, city councilman there in Tempe, and my mom was a first-grade teacher. And then I go off and become this intoxicated wild man on stage at night. But
Doesn't vodka enhance things? It really does, doesn't it? It really does make things nicer.
I'll tell you, you brought out something earlier, and you said you have to enhance your character. And there's something about, what? I used to drink more some years ago. Now with the child, I try to curb. What?
Wow. That's what you get for having a live studio audience in here.
Don't let the beans out of the cat. It does. It just. I'll put it this way. Because I'm a party, you got to party.
That's true.
Because you got to be believable, or people aren't going to buy it.
That's true.
And I think that
It's all for the sake of the game.
I think a lot of the shows that don't have that conviction of being who they really are seem to be. You don't leave with any substance. You feel like you could watch it on TV, or there's a wall between the stage and the audience. Where the shows I like are the ones that are very genuine, where there's a genuine love for the audience, and there's that give and take, and you can tell that things are off the cuff, and it's a unique experience to you in that theater that night that nobody else has ever seen or will see again. And to me, that's every show.
Well,
we've now done over 6,000.
Well, you just nailed what the true concept, the core of live entertainment is, and what it has to be. And before I let you go, this Las Vegas entertainment community is so special and so unique, so charitable, so supportive.
Very philanthropic city.
And I learned that firsthand when we came here in 2006, I think it was.
That's exactly when I came here.
Okay, so very soon we were welcomed in over at Bally's, not only by the people there, but at Caesar and on down the Strip. One of the first people to make us feel welcome was the late Danny Gans, who was such a sweetheart
talk about a talent.
of a man. Oh my God! But you also were one of the most welcoming people here, and
I was lonely and you were handsome.
well,
What can I say?
thank you. Hey, listen, whatever it takes, man.
Well, thanks.
But
No, I appreciate that. And
you probably don't remember, but
I do remember.
You introduced myself and some of the other Price is Right Live people to Friendship Village. Truly, as a charity, am I saying
Opportunity.
it?
You're thinking
Opportunity Village. Opportunity Village. Sorry.
See, in Phoenix, that means the elderly.
Oh no.
That was like I had you pegged.
Opportunity Village.
I had you pigeonholed.
I apologize.
Let's take him over to the old folks center.
Yeah.
No, Opportunity
You're
Village.
going to end up here at some point. No, Opportunity Village, and we stayed very active with them, and what a rewarding
one of the most
organization.
Oh my gosh! And they're indigenous.
Yeah.
To Las Vegas, which is a really cool thing.
It's so great, but and it was such a refreshing change from Hollywood for all of us to come here and to be a part of that. So
yes, I can
thank
imagine.
you again for that.
John, well, thanks, and I couldn't be more proud of. Here's the difference: anybody can put something together and create a show and get it on stage. It's keeping it going is all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And I will say that I'm proud that we've kept this machine running and this train rolling down the tracks. But you obviously have done the exact same thing, and so what I'm impressed with you is it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And you just keep it going. And
We're
you keep
very-
waking up and you keep getting on that stage and you keep making people happy and exciting them and making them cheer and scream and yell. And
Because you know what? There's a
awesome.
feeling.
It's a drug.
It is a drug.
We're the ones who benefit from it more than they do.
There's a
at the end of the
feeling
day.
that, and I know that you've experienced this too. For me, when I'm standing behind those Price is Right doors, you know what I mean?
That second before.
And I can hear the Price is Right mute. Dun, 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 dun.
It gets you every time.
And that is, you got to understand, man. Bob Barker and Johnny Carson were the guys that made me want to do
Johnny
this.
Carson was my influence,
Okay,
too.
I never wanted to be an actor, but I wanted to be on TV. And
Me
how
too.
am I going to do this?
You wanted to relate to people, make
That's
them feel
it.
good for their benefit and yours, because there's nothing that feels better than putting a smile on somebody's face.
I wanted to be
Period.
the guy that every guy wanted to buy a drink for and every lady wanted to hold the straw. You know what I mean? That's who I wanted to be.
If I had $1 for every time a girl's called it a straw. Anytime. Anyway.
But you,
It's
listen,
a bendy straw at that.
yeah, one of those crazy loop-de-loop straw. But I value our friendship and the support you've shown me over the years. I'm so grateful
Well, I'm
for
so
it,
glad
and
after
I'm
all
so
these years
proud
we
of
finally
you.
got to do something together here
Yeah,
now.
man.
But see, this goes two ways now. You understand that now you're going to have to come up and sing with me.
Oh, listen, you hand me that microphone, you son of a bitch. I'll be singing all the. Let me go through this schedule. You tell me if I'm correct. Tuesdays at Rhythm and Riffs inside Mandalay Bay.
We switched it to Wednesdays.
Wednesdays inside Rhythm and Riffs at Mandalay Bay. Thursdays and Saturdays on Fremont Street, the Fremont Street Experience. If you haven't hit Fremont Street, my God, there's so much there.
It's the new Vegas that
Yeah.
was the old Vegas, but it's
Go
the new
see,
Vegas,
go
yeah.
see, and Zoe Bowie's right on the main stage every Thursday and Saturday night. Fridays at Sunset Station.
We rotate between Sunset Station and Suncoast.
I don't know how you do. Follow him on Instagram or Twitter at Zoe Bowie. Chris Phillips, you'll always be a hero to me, my friend.
Mr. Newton, are you kidding me? I still give a little kiss to my life-size poster of you in a turtleneck hanging above my bed.
As do I. As do I. I thought I had the only one. But if there are two, I'm glad the other's with you, sir.
No, best of luck to you and continued success.
You as well, my friend. Thank you. Chris Phillips, Zoe Bowie. We'll be right back with more of the Host with the Most podcast on RadioVegas.rocks after this.
Hey, Radio Vegas Rocks listeners. It's your favorite habitual line stepper, Sober Sal from the Not Playing Stupid podcast. For those who know me, I'm all about barbecue. The problem I always run into is finding a place when I'm out of town that is, one, amazing, and two, won't cut into my drinking money. So next time you're in Vegas, you gotta check out Jesse Ray's Barbecue. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is an award-winning barbecue joint that serves Vegas's best slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and my favorite, brisket. Trust me when I say it's not just good, it's delicious. So before you blow your kids' college fund at the roulette wheel, or marry the chick you met 5 hours ago while playing Keno, make sure you do it on a full, happy stomach at Jesse Ray's Barbecue, located at 5611 South Valley View Boulevard, right behind the Mandalay Bay Casino. Mention you heard this ad from my show, and you get a free punch in the mouth from sweet old Jesse Ray herself. That got some kick. So don't forget Jesse Ray's Barbecue, where they're all about that butt.
Hey, Dudes with beards, I'm here to tell you about Mad Viking Beard Company. What is that, you ask? Well, that's a good question. They are the best beard products and men's grooming company since 2013. Guys, drop the razor, because with Mad Viking Beard Company, they kill the beard itch and give you what you need to grow a better beard. Like beard oils, relieves beard itch, creates a healthier and more manageable beard, reduces brittle beard hair and breakage, like split ends. The natural oils help promote a fuller and longer growth, giving you a little bit of hold, and it acts as a styling agent to keep those flyaway hairs in place. Then there's the beard wash. Not your average store-bought chemical-laden concoction, all right? Mad Viking Beard Wash, it's sulfate-free, paraben-free, offers top-to-bottom clean and conditioning experience all in one, providing a deep, all-natural, sulfate-free clean with a rich conditioning finish for a soft, moisturized face and beard, for the ladies. To order, visit www.RadioVegas.rocks and click on the banner to order now.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or have private insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM can automatically and easily help you manage your diabetes more effectively. And by using a CGM, you can eliminate the one thing most people with diabetes dislike the most: finger sticks. Now you can automatically manage your diabetes and end the painful finger sticks. Solara Medical Supplies makes it simple for you to have a new CGM. We'll do all the insurance paperwork for you and deliver the newest in diabetic care technology right to your door. Take charge of your diabetes today with the help of a new continuous glucose monitor. Call now to learn more. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651.
Hi, I'm always on the go, and I need the one thing to help me keep moving.
Zip Fizz.
That's right. It's an all-natural energy mix that comes in a tube. I can keep one in my pocket or my purse. So many great flavors, such as fruit punch, grape, orange soda, plus no hard crash because there is no sugar, but it is loaded with B12. It's high on electrolytes. I just love it.
ZipFizz.com.
Hey, Radio Vegas Rocks listeners. It's your favorite habitual line stepper, Sober Sal from the Not Playing Stupid podcast. For those who know me, I'm all about barbecue. The problem I always run into is finding a place when I'm out of town that is, one, amazing, and two, won't cut into my drinking money. So next time you're in Vegas, you gotta check out Jesse Ray's Barbecue. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is an award-winning barbecue joint that serves Vegas' best slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and my favorite, brisket. Trust me when I say it's not just good, it's delicious. So before you blow your kids' college fund at the roulette wheel, or marry the chick you met 5 hours ago while playing Keno, make sure you do it on a full, happy stomach at Jesse Ray's Barbecue, located at 5611 South Valley View Boulevard, right behind the Mandalay Bay Casino. Mention you heard this ad from my show, and you get a free punch in the mouth from sweet old Jesse Ray herself. That got some kick. So don't forget Jesse Ray's Barbecue, where they're all about that butt.
Kicker Audio.
Hey, Radio Vegas Rocks listeners, it's Sober Sal from Radio Uncovered. Now today, I got an amazing gift from the professionals at Kicker Audio, and I'm just so excited about this. Now, for the last 4 years, I've been using my cheapo Spark-O-Matic headphones, which work, but they're sad. I can't even describe how much upgrade this was. Imagine the experience going from a lonely masturbating session to being with a supermodel. That's how nice they really are. Now, if you're looking to improve your audio equipment for home use or your recording studio in your wife's closet, look no further. Like my good buddy Jay always told me, amateur equipment equates to an amateur performance. Now, professional equipment equates to, well, at least I look damn good while doing my show. Thanks, Kicker.
Kicker Audio.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or have private insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM can automatically and easily help you manage your diabetes more effectively. And by using a CGM, you can eliminate the one thing most people with diabetes dislike the most: finger sticks. Now you can automatically manage your diabetes and end the painful finger sticks. Solara Medical Supplies makes it simple for you to have a new CGM. We'll do all the insurance paperwork for you and deliver the newest in diabetic care technology right to your door. Take charge of your diabetes today with the help of a new continuous glucose monitor. Call now to learn more. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651. 800-571-1651. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. Here's what our customers had to say.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, a CGM can help you. It's accurate, easy to use, and if you have Medicare, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Plus, get free shipping of your new CGM, and we can bill Medicare for you.
Honestly, I had my doubts, but that new CGM is painless.
Call now. 800-451-4785. 800-451-4785. 800-451-4785. That's 800-451-4785.
RadioVegas.rocks.
Turning to sports, winner of this week's Gulf Coast Golf Classic was Chai Rodriguez.
Chichi Rodriguez.
This is RadioVegas.rocks.
One of the greatest shows of all
I
time.
can't believe you pulled my favorite quote from WKRP in Cincinnati.
So good.
Welcome back to the Host with the Most podcast. It's Todd Newton. Crazy Jay is here. We are live in the great city of Las Vegas. We're going to be doing, if you've been listening to the Host with the Most podcast for any number of years, any degree of time, you know that we come here about every month and a half, and it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I know that that you all enjoy hearing from these performers, and I'd like to start doing this on a regular basis because I'm a big believer in live entertainment, a big believer in everything that this city has to offer, and listen, some of the finest entertainers in the world are right here in Las Vegas. This is, and in my opinion, always has been, the entertainment capital of the world. So please do, when you're planning your 2020 vacations, your family vacations, your honeymoons, your divorce parties, do consider Las Vegas heavily, and do research some of the great shows that are here and available to you, because it is, without question, some of the finest entertainment that you will ever find. We're going to be talking to Jennifer Romas from Sexy, the show over at Westgate Resort Casino, coming up here in just a little bit. Once again, we want to thank the great Chris Phillips from Zoe Bowie for stopping by. What a great talk that was, and what a great man he is. This is just a really special place. And Crazy Jay, I want to tell folks about Radio Vegas Rocks. Radio Vegas is our premier platform. You have been kind enough to carry the Host with the Most podcast now we're going on 2 years.
Well, $1's $1.
$1, hey man, a buck's a buck. Listen, you don't have to tell me twice. But let's talk about you and the different shows that folks can hear. Not just the Host with the Most podcast. Are we on Tuesdays or Thursdays now here?
You're on Thursdays.
Thursdays. But there's so much more. Tell us about the lineup here that you have.
We have MG Kelly in the mornings. He's a big draw.
Machine Gun
Kelly from back in the day.
Yeah.
He's been with us since almost day one. He hit us up. At that time, he was living in Spanish Trail still, and he said, "I'm looking to get back into Vegas."
What's Spanish Trails?
It's the expensive condo place right across the street. You notice the big walls? It's to keep me out.
Oh, yeah, I understand. So the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
The good side.
The good side of the street, yeah.
Yeah.
So is he a Vegas guy now? He lives here?
No, he did at the time.
Okay,
Then
all right.
Now he's back in L.A.
All right.
Because I hopped his wall too many times.
And what type of show is he?
He does 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
Different days of the week. There's
radio legends, man.
Yeah, going on. And we have a variety of shows from 50s all the way up to current stuff. We have hip hop now, a little bit of
I don't like hip hop.
We got punk, we've got ska.
I mean, I know you're not. I know you're not channeling the whole network for me, but I don't like hip hop. I take my daughter and her friends to school, and they love that stuff, and they they listen to their playlist in the car. And I really, I now empathize with what my parents went through when I was listening to, Motley Crue and Skid Row and all that stuff. I now feel the same way when I hear all these, Juice WRLD, rest in peace. But, that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head. But I get it. But, I mean, I guess there's an audience for.
We don't have too much of it, though. It's just one or two shows. So it's good because I'm not a big fan
Let's
of it.
see what you can do about getting rid of that.
Yeah, okay. I'll work on it.
Yeah, let's have a meeting. Have a meeting over that. Well, that's good. And you're an old radio guy, and all of this is your creation. You have created this entire broadcast network here because of your love for radio.
And I do my own shows now. We just did our 1,188th episode the other day.
But who's counting?
Me.
I don't even.
I have to because I have to keep track of that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't. I wonder if I should be doing that. I don't number. And when I listen to other podcasts, I see the hosts doing that. Episode blah blah blah. I'm like,
honestly, I didn't until I hit 1,000. And when we started getting close to 1,000, I'm like, I keep track of that because I want to know when I hit that 1,000.
Did you just say, you know what, this one feels like the 1,000th?
No,
we'll start
actually,
here.
I was going to be honest because I know there's people out there that go 1, 2, they'll count them all.
Oh, yeah. I guess there are. Yeah, that's good.
So after our 800 episode, I decided, well, let's do something else besides just my show, and we created this.
The Rock and Comedy Show, I admire you for doing that because live comedy is another genre that has kind of taken a hit in recent years, and unless you're a Kevin Hart or a Joe Rogan or a Bill Burr, it's very hard to get your material in front of an audience, right? But you're promoting local comics, and do you get comics that are coming through town? Do you get them?
Oh yeah, we get the ones that are even headlining at Brad Garrett's or the Laugh Factory, and some local guys as well.
Yeah.
And we anything local, like it could be a band, it could be just a solo act, singer, magician, whatever. We'll get you on and have a lot of fun with you.
Chris talked about the loyalty of Las Vegas locals, and it's definitely a dedication and a level of support that I don't think you'll find in too many other cities. I think you see it in Nashville. I think you see it I've seen it and experienced it in Orlando, Florida, when they were calling that Hollywood East for a while. You might see it in New York City, I guess, with especially down around the Village area. But Las Vegas is very special. The people here support the people here.
And if you don't, and you live here, your event or whatever is going to tank.
Yeah.
We've experienced that. We teamed up with somebody and became part of a music festival, and as soon as they said they weren't interested in catering to the locals, it tanked.
Yeah.
And it was like, you did it to yourself. There's no saving you at that point.
Well, I think there's a reason why a lot of people relocate here. You know what I mean? It's not because they want to be where they want to be where the action isn't. They want to be right in the heart of it, and there is so much here in Las Vegas. As we continue to keep the art of conversation alive here with the host with the most podcast, let's talk about Florida a little further. I just mentioned Orlando. I want to talk about, there's a company in Orlando called La Galere. And you can leave it to the folks down there in Hollywood East to kind of be ahead of the curve when it comes to things like, entertainment, boozing it up. The Floridians, they certainly know how to have a good time. This La Galere owns a chain of self-service grocery stores. And they've now developed self-serve wine and beer dispensing machines. And how Florida beat Vegas to this, I'll never know. But the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation denied the application to start putting these wine and beer dispensing machines on every street corner. Would you drink a beer out of a machine? Ira, would you drink a beer out of a machine?
But he makes some damn good flavored vodka.
Let me say this. Ira, would you buy me a beer out of a machine? In a New York machine. Okay, thank you. I would most certainly. I enjoy a cold beer. I also enjoy my red wine. Last night when I saw Sexy, the show at Westgate, I had several glasses of delicious red wine. I would have no problem drinking red wine out of a machine because to me, red wine, regardless if it's a $200 bottle of wine or a $14 bottle of wine, after that first glass, midway through the second, it all tastes the same to me. So I am more than happy to enjoy a beverage out of a machine. Would you drink out of a machine?
Of course.
Yeah.
This man over here, Mr. Waz, he walked around on a weekend excursion with it was the box of wine, but because it was in the cooler, so it got wet, so the box fell apart. He just walked around with the bag, and he would occasionally stop and just spout it right in.
Yeah, you have to slap the bag to get those tannins all activated. So you hang it over your head, slap the bag, and pull the valve.
Pull the valve.
Yeah.
Now I don't. I would drink wine out of a box. I would not like to see it coming out of the box. You know what I mean? I am a man of distinguished standards.
Now you want to hold it up like an IV.
I won't drink coffee out of a box either. That to me, it's if I go to an event and you know there's a craft service table and the coffee's in a box, I don't think they're that happy to have me there. You know what I mean? It makes me feel as if, listen, let's get him something to drink here so he doesn't complain.
There's some good coffees that come in a box, though, and there's that bag that's inside the box. There's a whole astronaut situation you get.
Yeah, well, listen, if you're in the space program, it's great. I would how much would you pay? Are you a wine drinker, Wes?
I'll take it.
Is there any substance you won't put into your body?
Well, there's moderation. But there's moderation on the moderation.
How much would you pay? That's a great phrase. I might get that tattooed on me. How much would you pay for a glass of wine in Japan? You know, they have coffee in just machines that right on the street corner. You need coffee right. That was great. I love that.
Feels like a $3 to $4 situation.
Yeah. I bet you it's more though. I remember here in Vegas when Best Buy started putting the vending machines up, and you know you have a few drinks, you're walking by, you're like, oh yeah, look at those.
I need an iPod Shuffle.
Look at yeah. I get $250 for that. Ain't too bad, you know. Right, you buy the iPod Shuffle out of there. You're not getting any bargains though in those machines. Somebody's got to be making some money. I bet you'd be more up in the $8 to $10 range.
Oh, for a cup, for a glass.
Yeah, I bet you. I bet you.
That robot needs to cut down its little.
Yeah, but you know, because I knew a guy. There was a radio guy actually who owned a lot of soda machines around the Los Angeles area, and he did all right with those. You know, the problem is you're responsible for going around and doing the collections, or someone that you hire was responsible. Rick Dees owned a ton of those things.
There you go.
Yeah, but he had his hand in everything. But I would certainly pay. I'd probably pay. You know, listen. If you're slapping money into a vending machine, you really need that wine, and you know you're going to pay the extra couple of bucks.
You don't have to tip the robot.
One of the concerns that the state of Florida had obviously was how do you verify the age on these things? You know, what's to keep some savvy 16, 17-year-olds walking up and just, you know, slapping in a credit card and pulling out all this booze. Well, the company, again, called La Gallier, developed a dispensing system that uses biometrics. What's a biometric, Was?
Like a thumbprint or an eyeball, something that you grow that identifies you?
Well, they use biometrics, something that you grow, something that is uniquely...
Yeah.
I got you.
Could be your veins.
This is... what vein can you use
That's
veins
the thing,
for ID?
the new refrigerators at CES can identify you by the veins in your hand and like let you into your fridge or not, depending on your like diet or whatever.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite things in the world right now is this Face ID system on my iPhone.
Yeah, that's a biometric.
Oh, I love that. It's so, you know why? Because I did not use the thumbprint.
Really?
And I never locked my phone with a passcode because when I need my phone, I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing is so fast.
That's who it's for, because there's people that are like, get rid of this notch on the top and give me my thumbprint back.
No, why? Because isn't this just as safe?
Well, what I like is I can thumbprint it in my pocket as I'm pulling it up, so it's like a split second faster, and that's what I care about.
Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. Anyway, I love this this biometric.
Yeah.
So they're going to use these biometrics to determine who's buying the booze and if they're 21 or over. A rep for La Gallier says it not only addresses but exceeds the current method of age verification. With our age verification, they go above and beyond what the state requires. And he says, dig this, we basically take underage drinking to 0.0%. Is that possible? There's no way. There's
feel
no way
like-
that's possible.
I feel like if I was a kid around that machine, I'd have some tricks, a mask or something.
But wouldn't you have to be in some sort of system to be able to use this?
Probably.
Right? I mean, you can't just put your eye up to a thing and they say, well, that's a 23-year-old eye. They can't do that.
Gotta be like, I know, that'd be the way.
Yeah.
There's
It
gotta be
counts
like
the
an app.
ring.
There's always an app, and you verify through some app, and then you wave the phone at the thing, and it talks to the app, and then
He is
shake your
so
phone
smart.
upside down.
That's why I keep him around.
You are really smart.
He fixes all my stuff.
That is really smart. These machines, if you're down in Florida, they are currently being installed in high-end residential properties. So kind of like the area that across the street from where we are right now. Those areas would have them. They're not out on street corners. You'd find them in the lobby of a nice condominium or fancy apartment building. You know, I'm in favor of anything.
Todd's living room.
Yeah, man. I'm in favor of anything that eliminates human error. And that includes self-driving cars, all of that. Anything that, because human beings, we're lazy. We're not nearly as smart as we think we are. You might be, but we're not nearly as smart as we think we are. These self-driving cars, once the kinks are worked out, you know, a car is not checking text messages. It's not shoving Jack in the Box fries into its mouth at 2:00 in the morning. You know, what do you feel about that? So you think?
Well, I'm certainly shoving Jack in the Box fries in my mouth at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I drive stick, and it's risky. I'm flinging them sometimes.
What year is that car? What year is that car?
No, I have a newer stick. I'm ghetto.
They don't even make sticks anymore, do they?
You can get a Honda Fit as a stick. People look at you weird.
Yeah.
They're like, what the heck is
You
this
enjoy
thing in
driving
your
a
car?
stick?
Well, I enjoy that it was like 2/3 the price. 'Cause
Yeah.
The resale on Hondas is ridiculous.
All right.
So I had to get one no one wanted.
Yeah.
He likes to be different if you haven't figured that out.
Yeah. Listen, more power to you. All right.
I got one for you real quick.
Yeah. I almost said, let's switch gears.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. You bring me in on that comedy show.
Oh, yeah, it's 6 speeds.
With a zinger like that. Yes.
So being the host of different game shows throughout the years, has there been a moment where you were something happened on stage where you're like, ooh, with like a contestant?
Yes. Yes. Now, listen, I am very in tune with the contestants. You know, I'm very fortunate in the sense that Bob Barker taught me everything I know about hosting game shows, and I am so grateful for that. What a mentor to have, you know, in that world. But one thing that Bob reinforced time and time again was that every contestant that comes up on stage, every contestant has a story, you know? Every contestant has a reason that they're there, and they have a there's something that brought them to that stage, and to always dig for that, to find it. And, you know, you ask questions, ask another question, go deeper, and you'll either find it or you won't. But as a game show host, even if you don't find it, you always have the safety net of saying, and you could win this. You know what I mean? And just get right to the game. But there was one woman that came up to play a game, and her name was Ruth, and she was from Ohio. And Ruth had just retired from the post office. And I could have just said, all right, Ruth, you're going to play da-da, you know. But instead of just throwing that out there, I remembered what Bob said, and I asked a couple of questions, and it turns out that Ruth not only is retired, but she was supporting all of her grandchildren. She had never been on an airplane before. She had never been out of Ohio, and now she was playing for a trip to here, Las Vegas, actually. So by finding all of that information out, now the audience was behind her 100%. Now they wanted nothing more than for this sweet 60-year-old grandmother who's been supporting all of her grandkids on a postal carrier salary to take her first vacation ever. And when she won, the trembling on her lip, you know, was so beautiful. And to be able to hear the things that her family were saying to her after the win was just remarkable. So it's those kinds of moments that mean the most to me, you know. And look, I'm not a small guy, but I've been picked up and swung around and kissed and hugged and dropped and tackled more times than I can remember. But it's
And that was just from Zoe Boy.
That was just Chris, yes. But that's okay. Like I said, if there's one man that can love me up like that, it's Chris Phillips. But it's that kind of stuff that means the most to me. You know how it is, Jay. When you're doing what you were meant to do, everything is meaningful. Everything is special.
Well, this is a clip that is surfaced from Let's Make a Deal.
From the Wayne Brady or the
Yeah,
Monty
from
Hall? Okay.
Wayne Brady, where they bring down some contestants,
Right.
and it didn't go so well. Here's a little clip of it, and get your take on it.
Welcome back. This is it. Our last deal before the big deal of the day. I need a couple. You two, come over here. Steve and Jesse. Hey, Steve. How are you? Hey, Jesse. I love your outfits. Now, is this prom circa the 70s or early 80s?
We drove here in a 1974 bus, Volkswagen bus.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, how long have you guys been together?
About 6 months.
That's it? It's new. Oh, it's newish.
We're friends. We're just friends, but he wants it.
Can we talk about this now in front of everyone?
I'm single.
It's complicated.
I'm single, guys. I'm single.
What?
Oh, no. We're really good friends.
And the look on Wayne Brady's face it was amazing. And then they win the prize at the end, and it's a trip to Mexico for two.
Oh.
And Wayne Brady says, "I hope there's two bets."
It's
so great.
I was on the dating game, and before I ever hosted a game show, I was a contestant on the dating game, and I won a trip. I was the bachelor, and I picked bachelorette number 2, which in hindsight was not the best selection out of the 3. And our trip was a trip to Puerto Vallarta, and we could either take the trip together, or they would give us each $150 cash. And she beat me to it. She wanted the money, But it's very humbling to have a beautiful woman on national television
Tell you that she's single.
make clear to the world that you are not her dreamboat. You know what I mean? That's a great one. Wayne does such a great job on that show.
Well, and before they said they'll take the curtain, they had $2,000, so they could have split it.
Right.
But he's they went on that trip.
Man.
Yeah.
There's a guy somewhere. There's a guy somewhere that she is making that very clear for. There's somebody out there that she wants there to be no misunderstanding about what this Joker means to her. What were they dressed as? I couldn't see the clip.
It's just like a 1970s prom couple.
outfit. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, that came up the other day. I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Let me ask you guys this: did you make any New Year's resolutions? Because right now is the time where they're gone. Right now, I made none. I don't make them anymore. Ira, you make New Year's resolutions?
Not usually.
Yeah. Did you do one this year? You look like a.
Yes.
Yeah. How's it going?
Well, I was a little late.
Yeah. When did you make it?
Well, I made
February
it
1st
for New Year's.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't start implementing it until 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a smart way to do it. See, that's a smart way to do it because 80% of us, according to U.S. News and World Report, have already thrown the New Year's resolutions right out the window. They are no longer here. People have given up on them. And the reasons why this article in U.S. News and World Report, the reasons given of why we can't hang on to a New Year's resolutions, they make a lot of sense to me. Like, number one, we just don't enjoy the process that is required to make that change. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a more patient, a more tolerant person, if that's your New Year's resolution, on January 1, you don't wake up more patient and tolerant. You got to work at that, right?
Yeah.
Now, Waz, you're a very patient person. How do you do it? Is it the pharmaceuticals?
Patience. I don't know if I am distracted with something else in my head that I really want that's past whatever I need to be patient for. Sometimes I can just look through the current thing towards that future thing and just zone out on that.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out on your answer there. I don't know what it is you were saying. But
yeah,
that's
not nebulous.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the email from Jennifer Olma. She's going to be here any minute, actually. Will we know when they arrive? Is there a way to determine if the guests have arrived?
They can let us know. We can hear the door.
Oh, you can hear the door from here?
Yeah, so can the dogs.
Oh, okay, right, the dogs, yes, all right. Another reason these New Year's resolutions fail is because we try too hard. We try too hard. I don't know what that... also, if you have zero support from your circle, it's not going to happen, right? That you got to have the support from the people that are closest to you if you're going to make this change. Another reason, according to U.S. News and World Report, that your New Year's resolutions have been flushed. You're treating a marathon like a sprint, my friend. You want everything right now, and it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. When Woz was looking for love after his divorce from the Petco herpetologist... was that what you said?
The herpetologist.
Yeah, herpetologist.
It's the reptile people.
The reptile person at Petco. He wanted love right now. And it wasn't until he eased back on the pedal of love that he found it.
Yeah, you got to zone out and just let it flow through you.
That's right. That is what you have to do. There's a poem that I'd like to share with you that is kind of relative to this story.
Oh, it's one of those shows now at the poetry.
Well, if this isn't a group of men that enjoys poetry read by another man, I don't know what it is. Here's to my treadmill, incomplete without the sound of slapping feet. Eating healthy, getting abs, but chips and chocolate up for grabs. Oh, banana pudding from the deli. How did you get inside my belly? To the pounds I vow each year to lose, each time a few more from which to choose, to stop feeding my Krispy Kreme addiction, to watching less news and reading more fiction. Though I promised to timely fold laundry in the dryer, it lays there cold. I resolved to not procrastinate. I'll start tomorrow. Is that too late? I'm at the point now where I wish I hadn't even started reading this to begin with. From all the speeding I do that is not legal, to the sister-in-law that I still love to needle. That means, harass.
Rat needle.
I resolved to be ever so nice and kind. On January 2nd, however, I changed my mind. Sure, my 2020 goals are going just fine. I get them all done if I could just find the time. That's from Rachel Martin and Kwame Alexander on NPR. That was not my poem. But, all right, exciting. Last topic here before Jennifer Romas arrives. What do you guys think of men who wear flip-flops?
Oh, no, I'm one of them. I don't go about town.
Yeah.
But when I've got like a quick jaunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a guilty pleasure.
Do you get pedicures?
No. It's horrifying for everyone.
What, doesn't your wife make you get pedicures? Does she ever comment on your feet?
She doesn't interact with my feet.
She never touches your feet or anything?
No.
Really?
No, I keep that away from her.
But what about under the covers? Like you never, your feet never touch?
I don't use them as other appendages to interact with her. No.
Does your wife have nice feet?
Yeah.
She does?
Yeah.
I am very much against men wearing flip-flops in public. I'll cut you some slack on the short jaunt there.
Yeah.
I'll do that. But listen, if you're doing anything more than getting gas,
I know. I won't
or getting
grocery
coffee,
shop in them. No.
Right. And when you go to the airport and you see men wearing flip-flops, that is a complete violation.
That's offensive.
I will tell you this: in
It's so
all of my
comfortable.
years of travel, I have never, not once, met a man who missed a flight because he took the time to tie his shoes.
Yeah.
Never. Guys, you cannot show up wearing these open-toed shoes. I would like, if nothing else comes of this conversation, for you to start getting pedicures. I really think you'd enjoy them.
I've done it. I like it. It's a
Don't
good
you
time.
love... There is no better value for your dollar than having someone rub your feet.
Well, he wants you to have nice feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there is no...
I like this resolution. I like
There's
this.
no better value for your dollar than getting a foot rub.
No argument to this.
Yeah, it is just... Your wife won't rub your feet?
If I called it in, but it just hasn't occurred to me.
If you called it in.
I got other stuff I want rubbed first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Gotta pick
true.
my battles.
That's true. All right, do we need to take a short break?
Yeah,
here?
we'll take a break.
We'll take a short break. Guys, go put on a pair of closed-toed shoes, and we'll be back with more of the host with the most podcast right here on this finely pedicured radio network known as RadioVegas.Rocks.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. They're still using whatever bar their mommy bought for her little man. Is that what you want? To smell like mama's little man? Ugh. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap.
To subscribe to Dr. Squatch, visit RadioVegas.rocks and click on the banner.
Or don't, and continue to be mommy's little helper. Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. Real soap for real men.
Hey, Sal.
Hey there, lonely boy.
What the was that?
Dude, down here.
What the
We are your balls.
Hello.
How in the hell?
Sal, we don't have time to talk about that now.
Dude, rubbing that bar of soap against us for like 10 seconds does nothing but just spread around your junk funk.
You might as well be bagging us into a dirty mop bucket.
You want to get some action from something other than yourself, don't you?
Well, your first step is to stop making your most desirable place an inhospitable environment.
Trust us, Sal. Let us continue doing the thinking for you, big guy. Go buy some ball wash. Ball wash XL today.
Ball wash? What is ball wash?
What is ball wash?
It's no laughing matter. Ball wash is a powerful yet gentle pH-balanced wash formulated for a guy's most odor-prone and sensitive area. It also features activated charcoal and other natural ingredients selected for their unique properties, making it the perfect wash for balls and body.
Hey, dude, you remember the other day when you were making the bed and your hand slipped off the sheet as you pulled on it and you smacked us really hard by accident? That shit hurt, but damn, it was funny.
Okay, seriously now. Use promo code RadioVegas at checkout and you will get 15% off your order. That's ballwash.com.
What is Jesse Ray's Barbecue? Well, it's a tiny, unassuming place with a modest menu of platters, sandwiches, and house-made sauces. Located at 5611 South Valley View. By the smell alone, you're going to know you're in the right place. Come try the award-winning slow-smoked ribs, chicken, pulled pork, hot links, and brisket. The sauce is also something to talk about, as you will want to eat it with every bite. Here's a tip. Their sauces are available for purchase. When people ask you, how do you like Jesse Ray's Barbecue? You'll say, like most people I know, I don't like it, I love it. Jesse Ray's Barbecue is 100% legit. Stop on by for a meal that will satisfy your barbecue-loving lips. Mention RadioVegas.rocks for 10% off your order. Jesse Ray's, located at 5611 South Valley View on the corner of Valley View and Russell. Come in, take a bite, find out why they're so award-winning.
Hey, dudes with beards, I'm here to tell you about Mad Viking Beard Company. What is that, you ask? Well, that's a good question. They are the best beard products and men's grooming company since 2013. Guys, drop the razor, because with Mad Viking Beard Company, they kill the beard itch and give you what you need to grow a better beard. Like beard oils, relieves beard itch, creates a healthier and more manageable beard, reduces brittle beard hair and breakage, like split ends. The natural oils help promote a fuller and longer growth, giving you a little bit of hold, and it acts as a styling agent to keep those flyaway hairs in place. Then there's the beard wash. Not your average store-bought chemical-laden concoction, all right? Mad Viking Beard Wash, it's sulfate-free, paraben-free, offers top-to-bottom clean and conditioning experience all in one, providing a deep, all-natural, sulfate-free clean with a rich, conditioning finish for a soft, moisturized face and beard, for the ladies. To order, visit www.radiovegas.rocks and click on the banner to order now.
On your back and your head is caving in. Life has no meaning, gone off track. You feel like slave eating. There's a nectar from the gods that you left undiscovered. Just mix it with water and you will see as if this is your destiny. it's your destiny. Say,
RadioVegas.Rocks.
RadioVegas.Rocks. I really don't know how to describe it. It was almost as if they were organized.
This is RadioVegas.Rocks.
And I want to welcome you back to the Host with the Most podcast. We're live in the great city of Las Vegas. It has been a wonderful couple of hours. And as we move into the final minutes here, I'm very excited about speaking with this next lady. You know, this entire show, whenever we come to Las Vegas, the entire reason we do this show from Vegas is because I have such a deep appreciation for the business of show that is Las Vegas, and certain things that you can only experience in a city like this. And we spoke with Chris Phillips, Zoe Bowie, moments ago, and he too shares that exciting, that rush and that thrill that comes from performing in front of a live audience. But this young lady, I'll tell you right now, man, she could very well be the queen of this city, the reigning queen of this city. And before we bring her on, I just want to tell you a little bit about her. She recently celebrated her 1,000th show over at the Westgate Resort and Casino, which is no small feat in a city like this. She's been named Best Burlesque Choreographer, Best Adult Review, Best Female Review, Best Local Entertainer, which has got to be one of the biggest ones, right? I mean, that one's huge.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. I just, before I do the full I mean, that one's huge. The Best Local Entertainer. And she's been featured all over. She's worked with some of the top names in show business. She's been featured on national television. Jennifer Romas from Sexy, the show at the Westgate. What a thrill to talk to you. Finally, we get to do this.
That was quite an introduction.
Yeah. Well, listen, you've got
Thank you
quite
so
the thing
much.
going here. And I had the pleasure of seeing the show last night for the first time. And we were just talking before we came on the air. The Westgate is the perfect space for Sexy, isn't it?
That
Sexy with
showroom is
2 X's.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah, we've turned it into a quite the cabaret.
Yeah.
It's great.
I am a huge fan of burlesque and the history of burlesque. I know that Sexy, the show, is your baby, is your creation. So clearly you have an appreciation for burlesque too, right?
I do, yes. I mean, all dance forms, to be honest. Personally, my actual expertise is not in traditional burlesque. My foundation is more modern based, jazz, contemporary, ballet, all of that, theatrical. So kind of taking all of those aspects and the whole striptease and all that, kind of combining them is kind of what Sexy is. I hate to kind of label it as an actual burlesque show because we are definitely not typical burlesque dancers.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're absolutely, you're much.
But the genre, yes.
The genre is great because, burlesque, if you go back in the history of it, there was a lot of singing, a lot of comedy, a lot of crowd work, which your cast does. Gabriella Versace. Incredibly talented singer,
Yes.
but great with the crowd.
Yes.
I mean, real. And listen, last night, it was a Wednesday night crowd. It was a convention crowd.
Yep, convention crowd.
And
Or
I
the
know that
concrete
those are
convention.
tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
the concrete convention.
We had some good jokes with that one.
Yeah,
last night.
you did. And she worked it perfectly. But
Yeah,
those
she's
are
a
all
pro.
those are all aspects of the classic burlesque.
Yep.
Now, you're right. Sexy takes it to a much different level. The cast that you have is really strong. Beautiful ladies.
Thank you.
Hands down.
Thank you.
But the routines, the pacing, the choreography, which you're responsible
Yep.
for, is really top notch. Tell me about working with this group.
Thank you. Actually, gosh, you just kind of pinned the tail on the donkey, I guess, if you want to say that. But I'm so blessed to work with the team that I have, and to be honest, the entire 5 years that we've been there. I really do. The show is different because I'm in it. I am not a producer that gets to sit back, make decisions, go home, and let everyone else kind of deal with everything.
Right.
I am the producer, director, choreographer, whatever that has to make those decisions and be within my family, be within my team, and live with that each and every single night. Live with their, what's going on and attitudes and all of these things. And I've really, finding throughout the years, to be honest, not just the cast that I have right now, really finding girls that just adapt well together. We're not that group behind stage that are, the screaming, yelling, pulling hair. And I mean, not that any other show is, I'm just saying, but, there's, not everyone gets along.
That's true.
Especially girls in a small area and things like that. Some people just don't get along. And we just, our energy backstage is so important to me because it's a reflection of our energy on stage.
Yeah.
And because we are a family, whether people are there for 2 days, 3 days, or 3 years or 5 years, there's just a family atmosphere. And then when we come out on stage, I think that it just reads. It just reads to the audience because we really honestly enjoy each other. We have our moments and things like that, but we enjoy what we do. We enjoy being together and we enjoy performing.
And how many performers are in? I guess I could have counted, but I wasn't focused on counting. It's got to be, 10 or 11?
Actually, last night, 8. Eight is our full-time cast.
Okay.
8 is like our permanent full-time cast. I've got a rotating group of about 14.
Okay.
Sometimes we do an 11-girl show, a 9-girl show, but our actual nightly show is about 8 girls per night.
So let's talk about the name Sexy, which is perfect. It's perfect. And this is the type of show that I think everyone should incorporate into their Las Vegas vacation.
I love you for that. Thank you.
But don't you agree? I mean, listen, you can go see a great singer. You can go see a comedian. But truthfully, you can see a singer or comedian in Des Moines, Iowa. Can't you? But,
Yes.
but when you come to Las Vegas, you want to see, not that you ladies are showgirls, but you want that aspect of sexy. You want to see beautiful women, and what makes these women, to me, what the sexiest part of this show to me is not the fact that there are topless portions of the show.
Thank you.
The sexiest part of this show is the way these women move. Now, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but you know what I'm going to say. But the bathtub portion is extremely sexy, but it is sexy because it's athletic as hell.
It's crazy.
So when you're doing that, have you ever been injured doing? There's a lot of slipping and slide. There's water involved.
There's water, and it's a real bathtub.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
there's a
moving around going on.
This show is not just a bunch of ladies on a stage dancing. There are props. There are aerial acts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential for injury, which shows the athleticism, the artistry, the talent of these ladies. Tell me about the choreography that goes into this, like how these routines are created in your mind, because again, they all come from you.
They do. That's kind of interesting. I'm getting ready to kind of do a little revamp in the next couple months here. You got to change things up every few years, and this whole entire year being our 5-year anniversary as well, which
congratulations.
we've reached the 5-year mark, which is crazy. We are going to be doing some changes, to the show. I'm not going to tell what they are, but I'm really excited about them. Honestly, I sit and just listen to music. I listen to music. I kind of come up, sometimes it just hits me. I'll listen to stuff and I'll try to make it work, and I just don't see it in my head. And then sometimes, like what happened with one of the numbers in the show, I was just driving to work and I heard this song on the radio, and all of a sudden, like, lightning bolts went off all over the place, and I got like all excited and all like crazy, and I played it over and over again and turned it up and played it loud because it just automatically, like, I can almost kind of picture it in my head. Then you have to go sit down and, it's like any other, this is how I kind of do it. You've got to have your X's and O's, and I've got to map out my blocking and things, and then you've got to research costumes, and then you've got to, get your lighting done, and all those aspects are part of it. It's never just the choreography, as well as it has to work on our stage. But for me, there's a lot of songs, to be honest, and this is interesting to ask this. There are a million songs that I find sexy or that I would love to choreograph to or do something to. Those things don't always fit into the make of the show.
Yeah.
And we all know that anyone that produces anything or directs anything
Right.
or whatever, it's, certain music just doesn't flow together, or certain costumes don't work well together, or
Your
the
song
message.
selection for the bathtub is, I won't say what it is because I won't, but that is perfect.
Thank you.
It's perfect.
It just kind of happened.
No,
That's the
it's-
funniest
no,
thing.
it's
That one.
super
That's
great.
another one that just kind of
Yeah,
happened.
no, that one, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I don't want you to lose your
Yeah.
train of thought, but you're talking about song selection.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Well, I'm a rocker chick. You know this.
Oh
We talked
my
about
God.
this last
I told
night.
her, listen, I will say this.
If I could do the whole show rock, trust
She
me.
breaks out in the a little 80s hairband action, which to me was that was my favorite. I mean, I love the bathtub, but I'm like, well, if there's 6 girls up there now,
Yeah.
that when
Yeah.
that comes on, there's just, but that's my era, man.
I
you know that
I
just
know. Well, and I
you're
mean,
playing to the
that
audience
music
on
is
that
fun.
one.
Yeah, the music is super fun and
Yeah,
it's cool.
so great.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's kind of it. Again, there's so many things I would like to do, even creatively wise, that I would like to do, but they just kind of don't work. So I've got to find what works and what doesn't.
How do you know
work
if it
within the
doesn't
show.
work? Do you take it as far as putting it in the show? And
No, it won't get that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of when everyone's like, "What does she do all the time?" I do a lot of stuff
Thinking.
behind the thinking.
Yeah.
I do a lot
Yeah.
of thinking and listening and drawing little pictures and this and that, and kind of I'm old school with all of that stuff and how I kind of make things work together. And I've tried a few things, but I would never go the full blown out with it. It's like, okay, I'll try it. Let's try it in the show, and maybe it's not perfect or whatever. But in terms of a production number or whatever, I can't ever get that far into something and have it not work.
Who?
It costs too much money.
You're talking about all these details, and I've never. I don't produce. I like to come onto a project. I'll have ideas, but I like people saying, "Well, let's get Todd for this." You know what I mean? And
I would
coming
kind of
on.
like that too every once in a while.
Yeah, but I don't think
Let's
you
get Jen
are.
for this.
Yeah,
Let's just-
I don't think you are, because I know. And we don't know each other that well yet, but I can tell just by your performance on the show. I can tell by the things you say to the audience at the end of the show that this is your 24 hours a day.
I am.
And
Yeah.
and does that? I mean, can you ever turn that off? Like, do you ever
doesn't.
relax?
I found
or-
a few things that kind of allow me to. I'm a very high-strung person to begin with. I mean, honestly, I really am, and I'm very intense. I'm very passionate, and I'm kind of an all-or-nothing person.
Yeah.
And this is, as you kind of said in the beginning, like Vegas is make or break.
Yeah.
And if I sit back and just roll with the way things are great the way things are now.
Right.
But if I just sit back and roll, well, guess what?
Somebody will come along.
3 months from now,
No, I'm
I
with
ain't
you on
gonna be
that.
sitting back just rolling. So
Right.
I'm always trying to find new ways to build the show or to market differently, or we're working on our merchandising and specialty cocktails and all of these things, because it's a whole brand. It's not just the show for me.
Right.
And now that I've kind of and this is a positive thing, but with the marketing and branding, like I'm affiliated with Sexy. I mean, my company is JRR Enterprises, and I could do anything outside of Sexy, but because of the way that everything has been branded, I am the brand.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit hard to deviate from that, I find, at times. So I was like, well, let's just go all in. I mean, why not go all in? Let's make it a brand. And so that's kind of, again, behind the scenes of the actual show. Those are a lot of the things I do behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, when I wanted to meet you, it was because of an Instagram post that you did. Now, I don't listen.
That might have been Nick.
I don't like Instagram. I don't like social media.
I know.
I come from the era of if you become if you're lucky enough to become successful at something, if you're lucky enough to develop an audience who watches you or appreciates you, it's because you were good at it. You know what I mean? If somebody comes back and watches you week after week, or if they come to your show time after time, it's because you did something that they really enjoyed.
made an impact,
That's the gift.
impression. Yeah.
It's not
Yep.
because you
I
have
agree.
670,000 followers. Who am I, Jesus? You know what I mean? I don't want followers. I want people in the audience.
Right.
That's what I want.
Of course. No, I got you.
But
I know.
we did the podcast, I don't know, a couple of months ago from here in Vegas, and it was so much fun. We talked to a couple of other entertainers, and I'm like, I want to do that again. Who can we talk to next time? And I was just going through friends of friends of friends of friends, and your feed came up, and I clicked on one of your posts. It was a video, and you were you were talking about some of your new merchandise. You were going through. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I think I do. Yes.
And you're obviously you're so beautiful. So that's a catch. You stop there. But you were so engaging because you chuckle when you speak. Has anyone ever told you that? Sometimes,
I guess so.
Yeah. Doesn't she, Nick? And it was so endearing. It was like, okay, here's this beautiful woman who's obviously part of a successful show, but she's talking about champagne glasses, and she's chuckling, and she's talking about the new booty shorts, and she's chuckling, and I'm like, she makes you feel very comfortable, and I think that's when I reached out the first time.
Well,
but
thank you.
That is a real secret to successful live performing. And when you came out last night at the end of the show, which, by the way, to come out after the show is over is rare. Do you know that? You acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you did it, people are like, that was a great show. And now we get to experience a little bit of her. And what they experienced was pure gratitude. And it was really authentic.
Thank you.
You thanked people. And I really liked that part,
Thank you.
And I didn't want to say too much last night because I'd had 4 glasses of wine and I knew we were speaking today. But I think that's really special you do that.
Thank you. The way the show is created, I don't talk much like that as the host necessarily.
Right.
I mean, I come out a few times and talk, but I really have kind of given that role to Gabriella because she's so great at it, as the MC as well as the singer and things like that. But I know Chris probably has talked about this too when you guys were talking earlier too. We love what we do, man.
Sure do, man.
I mean, I'm gonna make him cry, but like, we're so blessed. We are truly so blessed. I mean, I complain about this or that, or we all complain about. I'm gonna cry about everything, about injuries, about life, about finances, about relationships, and blah blah blah, all that stuff or whatever. But like, to honestly. I mean, this is like a dream come true, and I didn't even have this dream. It wasn't like a dream that was in my head. It just kind of happened, and now I'm here, and it's like I panic all the time, out of excitement, kind of. We get things on our feed, on our social media feed. I'm kind of getting off track here, but a woman actually messaged me who had come to our show a few weeks ago, and she has cancer. And she took a photo with us and things like that, and I met her there, and then she messaged me privately on social media, and she posted and sent me the picture of her, myself, and the girls, and she said, I'm going to chemo today, and she goes, I'm going to share this picture with all of my friends here at chemo. She goes, because I'm going to get well enough so I can come back to see your show.
That's great.
And those are the moments that when you don't even know you've made an impact on somebody for whatever reason it may be. We all have our hardships and things like that, but that's I think why we have to do what we do. I mean, honestly, that has to be the reason we do what we do, and to feel good, and to all of those things. But like those are the moments, or like performers in town. I've been in Vegas for a very long time, since 1997. As a dancer, and I've gone through a whole history of whatever, and traveling and being here and things. So I do know a lot of people, and friends of mine from way back then that I used to dance with. This is like, well, you did it. Thank you for inspiring us. I'm starting my own business now, or I'm doing this, or and that's kind of it too. It's like I'm nobody special. I mean, honestly, I had an opportunity and I jumped on it, and I'm still trying to figure it out every single day. I do not have all the answers. I am not perfect. I'm just kind of going with the flow. But if someone else can look at that and go, you know what, I want to do something like that too, or something, or I want to start a business, or well, why can't you?
Yeah.
Put your mind to it, get some help, and do it.
Well, somebody must have been a role model for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't just be. I know I was reading up on you, and I know that you actually started as a gymnast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had a coach or a trainer that said, listen, you could use a little help here.
In the dance world.
Why don't you take some dancing lessons or something? Because
I started dancing very late, yeah.
But somewhere, we've all got our role models or the people. I'm a big fan of Mr. Rogers. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Rogers.
I love that.
Okay, and there is an incredible documentary that came out a couple years ago on him that I recommend all the time. When he received his Lifetime Emmy Award, instead of getting up there and, thanking, the Academy and whoever, what he said was, I would like for everyone in here to take 60 seconds and close your eyes and think about one person that rooted for you all along, that always told you you could make it. And then he goes, I'll keep time. And the room, silence and tears coming down these faces. And it really makes you think, it's like, well, we never end up on the path we think we're going to. I never thought I was going to be a game show host, I thought I was going to be Johnny Carson, and all of a sudden this came, and and you never thought all of this, that you would see your face all over Las Vegas when you were a little girl growing up. That's not the dream we had.
No, I wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Oof, I'm glad you're doing this. Yeah, the world doesn't need more lawyers. It needs more sexy. But so what you've done, you're definitely an inspiration. And when you do a show like you do, I would imagine that there are nights. You're a 10 o'clock show. Mm-hmm. There got to be nights around 7:30 where you're like, oh man, how am I going to do this?
Every night.
Isn't it magical when the energy just appears? What do you do moments before you go on stage? What are you thinking about?
Panic.
Who are you? But who are you thinking about? What kicks it into high gear for you?
It's just what we do. Honestly, it's just, I think anyone who has that passion in them, it's just what we do. No matter what's happened outside that day, no matter what you're going through. Not that anything that we do is fake as an entertainer, but you're just on. Yeah. The curtain opens, and like you said, the day I stop I always have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee like 500 times before the show starts. That is one thing. I get really nervous. I have to get into my own headspace because, again, I'm like wearing 10 million different hats, and I don't have enough time to kind of get myself prepared. So I'm always kind of going crazy. And Nick over here will tell you this too. I'm very high strung, so I don't really ever calm down. Yeah. But I think that's what actually propels me forward, is to not calm down. But I've told myself this often, is like, if I ever am not nervous to get on stage, I need to stop performing.
It's true.
Not a bad nervous energy, but I think there's got to be something that happens inside of you, no matter what you're going to do. A radio show, a television show, a live performance show. It's like there's got to be that kind of nervous excitement inside of you. Otherwise, it's kind of not worth it to me. It's like if you lose that, it just becomes part of your everyday, if that makes sense.
It does. And do you ever zoom in on one person or see one face? Every now and then I'll see, like when we're doing the Price is Right
when
show.
My dad's in the audience.
I'll see, right.
I do not look at him.
But I'll see one person. And, you scan 100 faces. It's almost like you're a computer. And you're like, but then all of a sudden, ding, 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 ding. You see one face of somebody, and you're like, that's the person I'm doing this for tonight. You're the one. You're the chosen one. Dog's humping my leg. You're the chosen one tonight. And this show is really, for that person. It's just when you see the magic in your eyes, you're like, all right, you know what? I can sleep in tomorrow, or I can, I'll work out extra hard. But tonight I'm going balls out for this individual here.
I think, ironically, yes, but also too, at times we have a very difficult time seeing anybody on stage with the lights.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Above and beyond like the first few rows.
Yeah.
I think there has to be that connection, especially with our type of show on stage. Otherwise we just become very, candy coated. Like, you know what I mean? There's no sincerity in what we're doing. Again, as a singer or as a talker, if you're talking to somebody, if you're not going to kind of look into their eyes and kind of hone in on that, it's sometimes a little embarrassing, especially in our show, though, because again, we're so exposed.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it adds to the sexiness too, that eye contact, and let's
and the girls are all great at that.
They are so good. let's be, and let's be honest. What you will see at Sexy the Show, and again, it's at Westgate Resort Casino. Wednesday through
Saturday at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Yep.
What you're going to see at this show is not something you're going to see in your hometown. And what I mean by that, look, you can go to a strip club anywhere, and that's great. That's not, to me, that's not sexy. That's not, big deal. We've all done that. But when you see it packaged the way you package it, this is not the type of thing that a man enjoys or a woman enjoys every night.
Right.
This is quintessential Las Vegas. And there's so much that goes into it. There's obviously the fitness, there's the choreography, there's the stage presence, there's the, the winks and the looks and the points that you guys all do perfectly. But sexy, spelled with 2 X's,
Yes.
means so much more than just bare breasts.
Of course.
By the way, there is one point in the show where there was a tinge of disappointment. May I share that with you?
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
What happened?
Listen, our buddy Nick here was kind enough to set me up with tickets to see the show last night. Wonderful seats, by the way. Thank you, Nick. And I watched all the YouTube videos. I watched all your sizzle videos. And there is a point in the show where a gentleman is pulled on stage.
Right.
I thought for
you were going to
sure,
be that man.
in the tradition of show business colleagues, that I would be the guy called on that stage. No, I'm not going to ruin it because it is truly a part of the show that is great.
Well, you'll have to come back.
But when that other guy got up there, apprehensive, by the way, and why, if you go see Sexy the Show, and
that's the first time, actually, everyone has ever been apprehensive to come up on stage.
Well,
I think he wanted his buddy to go.
Well, it wasn't, and Gabriella was really working because the guy that she was really working was there with his pregnant girlfriend, and she wouldn't let him go up. So Gabriella was great. She just chose a guy sitting next to him, And I'm like, listen, if you're at this show and someone says, come with me, you go with her. Go with her. But I thought, all right, okay, fair enough. I'll just enjoy it vicariously through this.
Not everyone likes to be on stage. It's
okay. But there's so much more to being sexy
Thank
than
you.
just the basics.
Thank you.
And how does that play into the choreography of the show? Because you got to put element A in there, obviously, but you also don't want to be what they're doing down the street at the the 24-hour joints.
Well, and again, too, I think it's also all very it's a big stereotype, especially with the pole dancing, as we all just saw with the Super Bowl with Jennifer Lopez and things like that.
What'd you think of that, by the way, as a choreographer?
Well, I don't want to get into any political debates right now.
Did you I preferred Shakira over.
Actually,
see, there's the laugh, by the way, she did it.
Nappy Tabs, Napoleon and Tabitha, who I've known for years, are originally from Las Vegas, and they choreographed all of J-Lo's piece.
So you're friends.
And
yeah.
I thought they did an incredible job. I know in the pole community, it was a big thing.
There's a pole community?
Well, of course there is.
Do you guys have conferences? Or...
Can I go with you? It's just like that's kind of history because every single one of those girls are athletes.
Yeah.
They're all athletes. No, and again, if anyone kind of knows the history of the pole, it actually started with the Chinese poles before they were ever in strip clubs and things like that. So it's a very athletic
the first time we see
thing.
you're on the pole.
I am. Yes.
That's tough, man.
Yes.
And listen, you're right. I mean, it's pure athleticism.
Yeah. It takes a lot of strength,
It's scary
a lot
to
of
practice that because what if you fall?
Yeah.
Does that go through your head? Like, what if I fall? I mean, not now.
I've not
obviously.
actually fallen, but I've injured myself. My
But if you
ribs have popped
slip,
out and things like that.
I mean, there's
I've
nothing there
slid,
but floor.
Yeah.
Oof.
I know. We're kind of daredevils.
Yeah, you are. Sorry, that you were talking about.
No, but going back to just, there's always a stereotype, I think, with these genres of show because people don't ever know what to expect.
Yeah.
And, that's where, too, the whole meaning of our show and kind of, you can't preach, I guess, people have to kind of see it to believe it and things like that. But, women love the show just as much as men do.
Yeah.
It's really empowering and really inspiring as a woman to watch our show and to be at our show. We play to both audiences very, very well. And also, too, the girls just in the cast visually, of course, everyone has to look great and their bodies have to be great and they have to fit a certain criteria, but we are all very different. Our body types, our shapes, our sizes, we look great as a team, but we also, everyone in the audience likes something different. And to me, that is also sexy, that we are not cookie cutter. We're not all 5'9", and we don't all have the same, hair color and this and that. And I think that's also very important in terms of, our audience and what actually sexy means. Again, all of the women are so empowering on stage. And to me, being empowering is very sexy. Being confident is very sexy. Being bold is sexy. And also having that special vulnerability that each of them do have on stage to kind of let people into their world. And that's what everyone's really, really great at. And I think that's what makes us different from other shows here in Las Vegas. It's just, whether it comes from me or comes from me finding the right people to do what I need them to do, I think that's the difference.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I ask all the entertainers this because Las Vegas is such a special place.
It is very special.
And it is, I believe that you haven't truly been in show business until you've done Vegas. You know what I mean? And I was telling Chris, this to me is the pinnacle of my career. Seeing your face on a Vegas marquee
it's
or
crazy.
Your name.
It's crazy.
I've got a picture
I
when
get
we
the
were
chills
at
every
Bally's.
single
I
time.
know. And this was before smartphones, so it was taken with like a stupid Kodak disposable, and it's all grainy, but I've still got it in my house and it's hanging on my wall because, at least we were there. You know what I mean? And I'm reading this great book now called Elvis Does Vegas. And obviously the Westgate used to be the International and there's so much Elvis there. But you can go play anywhere now and always you've done Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the community here is unlike any
other
certainly
community.
unlike Los Angeles. It's unlike New York City. The support that you get from the other entertainers.
We build each other up. And I think most of us build each other up instead of try to tear each other down.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No.
I feel so strongly about that because I, for one, would not be where I am today if I did not have the support of our community and entertainers that didn't even knew I was a dancer before my show opened. I mean, honestly. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, they, I was telling Chris when he was here, he was the one that shortly before I got here, he said, listen, man, come with me to this event at this place called Opportunity Village. Penn Jillette is another one. Opportunity Village. The late Danny Gans was so instrumental in the success of The Price is Right in the early days.
Wow.
When you go to a show and Danny Gans, or Penn and Teller, you would never see that in a lot of other forms of show business.
Right.
And I think it's always been that way, don't you? Here in Vegas,
I do feel that. Like I said, most of my friends, I kind of did a crossover from dancer to producer, headliner. And there are different communities kind of within that, but it really is it is like no other. We're all very involved in all of the charities here in town. Everyone supports all of that. Everyone supports show openings, and I think again to go support, not to go judge and things like that. Right. If one show makes it, we think another show can make it, and there's enough people in this world to like anything or to like everybody. So it's like, why would we have to knock each other down to get where we need to go? Let's build each other up so that we are this great community of people supporting each other, and that's why we all know each other because we're everywhere together. You know what I mean? Which is great. But yeah, it is a city like no other, and I'm so blessed to have been here and just be here and know the people that I do.
Yeah. So what do you do next? I mean, you're always thinking, you're always creating. It looks like this show, Sexy, you could branch that out. There are different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are a lot of avenues that you've yet to pursue. So which
Tons.
one is,
I need an army. No, 2020, we're still in January, which is actually we're in February, but I think 2020 for a lot of people is kind of just going to be a big moving year. Last year we actually, for our show, which was kind of a big thing, we had the opportunity to do the Real Housewives of Orange County, which was with Emily Simpson. Actually came on to our show, which for a little show that no one ever thought was going to make it. Like these are really big, huge kind of steps. And we're looking to do a lot more of those type things this year. We've got some really great things on the table. Again, to just the merchandising, we're hoping to have everything online by Valentine's Day. My goal would, of course, to have the show stay here forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Westgate, we love you. Thank you. But
see how she chuckles.
But to honestly, to have, I own the show. I own the trademark for Sexy, and again, in terms of branding and making anything bigger than it is, you always want to expand. That's not a bad thing. That's a really great thing. So I'd love to have a running show here and have a touring show, or have a show in somewhere else. That's kind of a goal for, it's been a goal for 3 years, but it'll still continue to be a goal for the next years until that happens. Growing my team, not just the dancer end, but the production end. I'm still kind of a one-woman show running everything behind the scenes. Just again, we all know financially everything costs a lot of money, and I'm not at a point where I can really grow and expand in that portion. Thank God for Mom and Dad for helping out. Again, my parents are at the show.
That's what
when
you were
ask
saying.
me about who are my greatest mentors
sweet,
or who's made the greatest impact, I have to say my parents. They've just always supported me, whether they've agreed with me or not. They've always supported me, and because they always support me, there's just yeah, I mean, they tell me when I'm wrong, but but no, I mean, they do. They just support me with open arms.
Isn't it neat to have family that grounds you? We were doing Price is Right in Phoenix just a couple of weeks ago. So my son, who's 18, my oldest,
we'll bring him to the show.
I will. He will, and then you throw him up on that. So we'll show him how cool Dad is. But I was telling these guys, it was so great because I've too brought my parents to the show, and your parents get older, and we're so fortunate that they're able to see us doing what we want to do.
Blessed.
And I feel the same about having my kids there. I have 2 kids, and my son came to the show, and just to look down and to see him there, because our show started the year he was born. So this has been an 18-year, everything in his life is Price is Right. You know what I mean? And game shows. So to have him there was such...
And now understanding everything.
Yeah. And it, for me, when I was younger and stuff, it was great to be in show business because you got to meet girls and you had a little bit of extra money, and you know what I mean? But now it's different. It's like, now, kid, it's for you, or for your parents, to be able to stand up there and say Mom and Dad are here.
You want them to be proud.
It's so awesome for you, and I'm thrilled, and I'm just so happy for you, even though we've just met. I'm just so thrilled that there's someone so appreciative of everything she's accomplished. And you haven't been given anything. You've accomplished everything.
Thank you.
And again, the show is, I truly enjoyed it. I loved every minute of it. From Gabriella Versace, I think she's an incredible talent.
Yep.
All the ladies you had on the stage are great.
Thank you.
You're phenomenal. Your artistry is second to none. And I've kept you here long enough, but I can't recommend this show enough for people. And I know that a lot of folks are listening now on RadioVegas.rocks. And Jay, thank you for having us and letting me come in and do this.
Sure.
But for those of you that are going to be listening on iTunes and Spotify and on all digital platforms here the next couple of weeks, again, I'd encourage you to make Las Vegas part of your 2020 travel plans, whether it's a convention or whether at the family vacation that you just really need to take, or your honeymoon, or if you're looking to get married. Listen, don't go spending $30,000 on a wedding. Come here.
There's so much to do
it
in
for
Las
a few
Vegas.
$100 and really enjoy this. And I'd love, look, I'm a single man, but I'd love to have a girlfriend or what, because I would take her straight to that show, because only good things can come from taking the one you love to see Sexy the Show. Westgate Resort Casino, Wednesday through Saturday,
Yep,
10 p.m. Go have a great dinner. Go see the show. It's beautiful. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
Real
me.
honor
I had a great
meeting
time.
you.
Thank
you.
you. Thank
and
you.
Jay, I'm going to go ahead and sign off early,
kisses,
all right?
everyone.
Look at that. All right, thank you. RadioVegas.rocks. ToddNewtonOnline.com is the website. Catch us on iTunes, Spotify. We love you. Thank you, Las Vegas.